Chapter 1580. The vast expanse of land rose into the sky along with the black tide. If one looked from above, a large piece of the border between the three demon domains, Hun He, Chi Yi, and Huang Hai, seemed to have been dug out. It formed a terrifying hole. Such a huge change even affected the laws of the dark demon realm. Patterns flashing with special light appeared above the clouds and flowed in the void, forming an inch of pressure with the ancestral realm. The huge energy flow wreaked havoc in the three demon domains and spread to the other demon domains at an extremely fast speed. In the energy storm, Wang Feng suddenly opened his eyes. "Master, you seem to have touched the laws of the dark demon realm." Yan Mengyao immediately said, "How is your comprehension going?" The dark demon realm was formed by the fusion of the 9 realms, not the great world that was born in the chaos. Even though she has lived for so many years, Yama is not very clear about the laws of the dark demon realm. Wang Feng was silent. Descending to the ancestral realm, directly compressing the laws inside the black tide, and then sucking it into the ancestral realm. It was impossible for him to do that, but fortunately, he had the eternal God Slayer. The eternal God Slayer was connected to the ancestral realm and could help Wang Feng withstand part of the ancestral realm's law pressure and absorb the black tide below. But even with the eternal God Slayer, it could only suppress the area where the black tide was. If he wanted to expand the area, Wang Feng could not do it, so he could only keep the ancestral realm in the sky. When the ancestral realm descended, the laws of countless worlds descended and formed an energy storm with the laws inside the black tide. It gave Wang Feng a lot of insights about the ancestral realm. Now that you mention it, I remember. Why did Yama go to the well of reincarnation? Wang Feng suddenly asked. "Oh master, you finally found the blind spot." Yan Mengyao giggled. "As for the reason, I don't know. But if you have the chance, you can ask Yama yourself." Wang Feng. Why did Yama go to the well of reincarnation? No, to be precise, why did she find the well of reincarnation? The reincarnation of a great world was extremely important. Just like a closed cycle of ecology, reincarnation was very important to every world and even the universe, and reincarnation must be closely related to the most fundamental laws of the world. In other words, Yama should want to touch the dark demon realm's origin law. Ambition, Wang Fengxin thought. He remembered Qing Luo mentioning that the ancestral fiend had also found the well of samsara. Thinking of this, Wang Feng collected his thoughts. He would go to the reincarnation well sooner or later. At this moment, a halo of light appeared in the sky, slowly forming a pitch-black vortex. Wang Feng seemed to have sensed something. He stared at the pitch-black vortex. "That should be formed by the will of the heavenly Tao of the dark devil world," Yan Mengyao said solemnly. "What? Are you planning to attack me?" Wang Feng's eyes narrowed. "No." Yan Mengyao's voice changed. "Master, you might not have noticed the impact of your actions just now. The ancestral realm is vast and powerful enough to be comparable to the dark devil world. Master, your idea is unique. You directly let the ancestral realm descend, creating a huge pressure on the dark devil world. This kind of method is impossible for ordinary demon god. Demonic gods are unable to control a large world like the ancestral realm because they cannot split open the primal chaos before the ancestral realm. Therefore, to the demon gods, they have completely misunderstood. He thought that this was a warning from the universal-level lifeforms. All the God-Slayer terminals that I am connected to in the 9 domains have transmitted this message to me. They all thought that the universal-level lifeforms were attacking, and they all retreated into their own infernal realm, afraid of being affected. Yan Mengyao fully played her role. As she said, as an eternal God-Slayer created by Yama, she could really establish contact with most of the God-Slayer terminals. It could be said that the slightest movement in the dark devil world could not be hidden from her. Ancient Chinese, especially when she was still in her complete form. So, even the demon gods misunderstood. They would also misunderstand the heavenly Tao of the dark devil world. Because the universal level life forms are beyond the heavenly Tao of the dark devil world. They are existences that even they cannot imagine. Yan Mengyao giggled. Your move, not only did you solve the black tide, but you also took advantage of the situation. Wonderful. It's just a basic operation. Wang Feng waved his hand, not caring much, and said without modesty. By the way, where is she? Wang Feng thought of something and looked around. The vast land covered by the black tide had completely disappeared. The surrounding area formed an abyss-like void. If one looked at the map of the demon realm, it seemed that a large piece of this place had been directly dug out. She should have been sucked into the ancestral realm along with the black tide. Yan Mengyao knew who Wang Feng was asking about. Entered the ancestral realm. It just so happens that the analysis of the primordial origin is almost completed. When the time comes, I will be able to understand these void life forms. Wang Feng took a deep breath. This action had actually consumed a lot of his energy. From his body to his divine power, he had suffered great damage. The ancestral realm was not so easy to carry. However, for Wang Feng, with the ancestral realm, there was a clear way to improve his strength in the future. This was also one of the insights just now. The ancestral realm was such a huge world. Wang Feng only needed to slowly nurture the ancestral realm and cultivate countless powerful beings. He was the god of the ancestral realm. To be able to gather billions of faith and condense 9 divine rings, for Wang Feng, it was only a matter of time. Moreover, with the ancestral realm, it meant that he would have a lot of resources in the future. Wang Feng could even move his main body and begin to analyze the chaotic green lotus martial soul. After the analysis, he could materialize. The same was true for the Panguax. After the materialization, his strength would rise to a new level. Perhaps that would be the opportunity to become a universe-level being. As long as Wang Feng wanted, his lifespan in the ancestral realm could be as long as the ancestral realm. As long as the ancestral realm was not destroyed, he could continue to live in the ancestral realm. Disperse. Wang Feng stared at the pitch-black whirlpool in the sky above. Although he had some vague thoughts, the vortex formed by the will of the heavenly Tao that Yan Mengyao had mentioned still gave Wang Feng a certain amount of pressure. However, there were no subsequent changes. Wang Feng dispersed the energy storm around him and entered the ancestral realm. As the energy storm disappeared, the real world above the dark demon world gradually disappeared. However, the space distortion left behind by the collision of laws was still there. Countless energies could not calm down immediately and formed torrents in the sky. It looked extremely beautiful. This kind of energy torrent would not disappear for a while. The energy torrent formed by the overflowing laws of the world would not disappear in such a short time. At the same time, it would also form a new wormhole in the already unstable dark demon world. It's gone, Qi Lingyan suddenly woke up. She took a deep breath and looked at the sky, then at the location of the black tide in the distance. They had disappeared together. The black tide was also gone. But where was he? Although the black tide is gone, so is he. And the heavenly demon master. I'm afraid he was sucked into the great world along with the black tide. Most likely, he is dead. Qi Lingyan shook her head. Then she remembered that he had obtained the eternal God Slayer. He was also a great being chosen by the Lord of Hell. He could even break through the eternal sacred palace. It should not be a big problem. Besides, that universe-level being would not be so calculative with him. Thinking of this, Qi Lingyan was slightly relieved. Just then, a stream of light streaked across the sky. Chapter 1581. A demonic figure appeared in her line of sight. Dressed in green, it was demon god Qing Luo. It's really you, Qi Lingyan. Why are you here? Demon god Qing Luo asked. I remember before Di left, He said he was going to Treasure Cliff headquarters, so he would definitely meet you there. Who is this? Don't tell me all this is related to him? Do you know which demonic gods I met on my way here? With your intelligence, you should be able to tell that De is a fake. Why are you so concerned? Qi Lingyan frowned. Didn't a black tide erupt in your demon domain? He may be fake, but he's related to De in countless ways. Demon god Qing Luo said lightly. Besides, he helped Soul Demon Sacred City, so I can't just sit by and do nothing. I wanted to go to your treasure cliff to ask about it, but I didn't expect a black tide to erupt. My demon domain has always been stable, so it's impossible for a black tide to erupt. Not to mention that the black tide was intentionally caused by the three demonic gods. Interesting. Qi Lingyan smiled and pouted at Tian, then go. Did you see the great world just now? A universe-level life form is warning our dark demon domain, and at the same time, digging out the demon domain covered by the black tide. De is right there. Hearing that, demon god Qing Luo was stunned. As expected, demon god Qing Luo sighed. What do you know? Qi Lingyan pondered. Could it really be the former demon and he's helping De? Help? How is that possible? Demon god Qing Luo's eyes were filled with disappointment. He didn't even know about this former demon. Back then, he even used this former demon's name to threaten the three demonic gods, and took the Heaven Styx River. He must have unknowingly formed a grudge with this former demon. Just like Huang Hai, if it really was the former demon, he was in trouble. It can't be. Qi Lingyan's heart skipped a beat. He was chosen by Yama Lord, and he had eternal god slaying, but he was gone just like that. Wouldn't that be a waste of Yama Lord's efforts? Thousands of years, and it was all gone. Thinking of this, Qi Lingyan's heart sank. She looked at the distant clouds of the dark devil world. She had probably never seen such a chaotic dark devil world. The future seemed to appear before her eyes, incomparably dark and gloomy. Ancestral realm. The endless mountains that stretched for hundreds of millions of miles were completely silent. True intelligent life had yet to be born. There were only mountains and rivers and vegetation, forming an endless mountain range. Rumble. Accompanied by an earth-shattering boom, the void space trembled. It was as if a continent had descended, flattening the nearby mountain peaks that were several tens of thousands of meters tall. The mountain range collapsed. Above the clouds, Wang Feng's figure quietly appeared. Beside him was Yan Mingyao's seductive figure. Master, what do you plan to do with this piece of land? Yan Mingyao's expression was a little solemn. Don't blame me for talking too much. Although you have sucked the black tide into the ancestral realm, it will only become a disaster for the ancestral realm if it is not resolved. The ancestral realm could not deal with those void beings. And the energy in the black tide. Yan Mengyao wasn't exaggerating. However, I'm almost done with the analysis. Wang Feng smiled slightly. Can you guess what the energy in the black tide is? It should be related to chaos, right? Yan Mengyao asked tentatively. Good. That's right. It seems that you didn't sleep in the chaos world before the ancestral realm for so many years in vain. Wang Feng nodded. According to the analysis of the primordial origin, the energy in the black tide is 60 to 70% similar to the chaotic energy in the chaos world. It's just that it's contaminated with soul energy, thus forming the energy in the black tide. The chaotic energy was originally harmless. The chaotic energy was the origin energy of the world. When Wang Feng split the chaotic energy, countless chaotic energy evolved with the birth of the world into a brand new energy and the vast land of the ancestral realm. Therefore, Wang Feng had stayed in the chaotic energy for a long time, and his demonic body did not receive any obvious damage. It was just that once the chaotic energy combined with other special energy, it would change. This soul energy should be the evolution of the souls of the extremely powerful life forms in the universe after they fell. Wang Feng's triangular eyes glowed, and his voice continued. You said that the lifespan of a universe-level life form in the universe is only one initial wheel. This means that universe-level life forms can also fall. However, these life forms are very powerful. Even if they fall, their souls will dissipate into energy particles in the universe, but they will never be erased. That's right. A universe-level life form is powerful enough to do this, Yan Mengyao solemnly replied. According to Lord Yan's speculation and all the information he instilled in me, he believed that universe-level life forms, even if they fall and their souls dissipate, will only turn into pure soul energy and dissipate in every corner of the universe. Until a certain moment, this soul energy will be reborn and condensed. However, that will take a long time, far longer than one initial wheel. And the possibility is very low. Wang Feng pointed at the black fog below. And the soul energy of these universe-level life forms overflows in every corner of the universe. Once it blends with the chaotic energy, the world that is born will change. This is the dark hole plane that the dark demon realm mentioned. That's also the origin of these void life forms. Hearing this, Yan Mingyao's pupils suddenly shrank. The giant tree in the center of the world suddenly glowed, as if it was frantically calculating this possibility. These void life forms are so powerful that even the demon god can't do anything to them. Because they are pseudo-spirits formed by the soul energy and chaotic energy of those universe-level life forms after they die, they are almost immortal. Wang Feng lightly said. Unfortunately, the soul energy of universe-level life forms is endless. If they don't gather to a certain extent, even basic consciousness will not be born. So, these void life forms are almost without consciousness. Even if one or two have consciousness, they can't give birth to wisdom. The primordial origin gradually disappeared. His godly power was now exhausted because analyzing these void life forms consumed too much energy. In fact, it was not completely exhausted. But the origin was controlled by Wang Feng. It did not need to be completely analyzed to get the result. As an intelligent life form, Wang Feng was not a robot. Almost halfway through the analysis, Wang Feng could make some speculations based on the information he had analyzed. The information he told Yan Mengyao was the result of Wang Feng's own speculation. After the analysis was complete, it could be confirmed. But it should be close to the truth. Then what do you want to do? Yan Mengyao took a deep breath and looked at Wang Feng. As the eternal god slayer, she vaguely guessed what this master wanted to do. However, when he said it personally, it gave her a different feeling. Of course, Wang Feng's gaze was unhurried. Use the energy of the black tide and these void life forms to establish the reincarnation of the ancestral realm. Yan Mingyao's delicate body trembled when she heard this. Her whole body emitted a warm current, and her eyes were overflowing with excitement. But there is no hurry now. I have to go and see her first. Wang Feng coughed a few times and immediately landed on the vast land below. Yan Mengyao felt like she had reached the peak, but before she could feel it, she suddenly fell. Chapter 1582. Bibidon woke up leisurely. The first thing she saw was not the gloomy sky of the dark demon realm. The air was not filled with the gloomy dark demon energy either. The dark demon energy was a powerful energy that was cold and irritable. For example, when mortal creatures inhaled the dark demon energy, they would gain great power, but they would also become violent and lose their consciousness. Not to mention mortal creatures, even powerhouses from other worlds might gain great power in a short period of time if they absorbed the dark demon energy by force without any special means. But as time passed, it would be hard to say. The sky was bright. The bright color made Bibidon a little dazed. Suddenly, she felt as if she had returned to the god realm, to the Douluo continent. This is the great world? She stood up and stared at this magical body that had been forged from a magical machine. There were only some minor injuries caused by the power of the laws. The rest were not very serious. After all, it was the eternal God Slayer. The Yama Lord had spent many precious resources to build it. Although it was still in the experimental stage, it was still very powerful. The sky was bright, but the energy in the air made her frown slightly. She was still in the black tide. But the laws inside the black tide had completely dissipated. She could leave freely. It was just that the energy in the black tide was special. It is still in the original position. The entire land of the demon realm that was covered by the black tide has been sucked into the great world. Bibidon looked at the sky. She had stayed in the dark demon realm for many years, and in the god realm for many years. This bright blue sky was really different from the others. The sky of the god realm was brilliant and majestic. Only the sky of the mortal world, like the Douluo continent, had such a mix of blue and white. Low growls could be heard from all directions. She closed her eyes and sensed the surroundings with her demonic will. There were still many incorporeal beings. Those purple shadows were illusory and real, but they contained a great amount of power. Since the entire land of the demon realm has been sucked into the great world, he should have been sucked into? Bibidon came back to her senses and was shocked. The premonition in her heart had disappeared without her knowing. Impossible. The black tide is no longer restricted by the laws, and it is not pure darkness. Why did the feeling disappear? Did something happen to him? A trace of panic flashed in her heart. Thinking of this, she immediately moved. She needed to get out of the range of this black tide first. That universe-level life form, that ancestor demon, she had never been so nervous before. Back in the Douluo continent, she had unified the continent and established the Martial Spirit Federation. She had reigned for over 100 years and cultivated for over 100 years. After that, she had entered the god realm and accumulated a lot of power. Aside from the few god kings, no other god was her match. Compared to the Martial Spirit Palace's Pope, she was many times more stable. Later, he entered the dark devil world. After another round of tempering, his strength changed from that of a god to that of a demon god. He also saw an even more magnificent blueprint of the universe, and his temperament and personality changed slightly. However, there had never been a moment when his heart was in such turmoil. Even though she controlled it well, her heart couldn't stop trembling. In the black tide, facing such a predicament, she was not even afraid of death. And now it didn't take long for several nothingness beings to notice her. The purple silhouette had no form, but it seemed to be able to devour everything. "Get lost!" Bibidon shouted angrily, and a demonic aura suddenly erupted from her body. 8 divine rings appeared from her body, and the powerful origin energy turned into endless light from her body. Finally, it formed a scythe, and a terrifying energy wave spread out in all directions. However, it was useless against these nothingness beings. 678 It was ineffective. She snorted coldly. These nothingness beings were really strange. Even those ghost demons were not immune to the origin energy. These nothingness beings did not have obvious energy waves, and even their senses were very weak. However, only the eyes could see them. It was ridiculous. Once entangled with them, one could only fight and retreat. Otherwise, once the dark demonic energy was exhausted, it would be difficult. However, she was very anxious now. This was the great world of the ancestor demon. If it was really like what the no-flower demon master said. Wang Wu had previously impersonated this ancestral demon and even took his Heaven Styx river, which directly led to the demonic qi being taken away by the demonic god of Huang Hai. Given the current situation, wouldn't he be hung up by the ancestral demon and have his soul obliterated? Especially now that the premonition was gone, she was even more worried about this possibility. However, the nothingness beings around her did not respond at all. As natural spiritual bodies, they did not have consciousness, but their danger level was higher than that of the demon god. Their methods were not special, because they could trigger the energy in the black tide, and they could also release spiritual pressure that targeted the soul, causing great damage to the demon god's demonic soul. Thus, they could destroy the opponent. In these years in the dark demon world, Bibidon had learned many origin techniques related to the soul and spirit. Some of them were even from other worlds. The Clear Sky Palace had the Myriad World Pavilion that the Yama Lord had specially collected many civilizations from the Wormhole World. It included the Great Worlds on the Sacred World ranking. Unfortunately, it was almost useless against these nothingness beings. Demonic consciousness dominates the 9 heavens. Fecta Assimilation Art. 10 Desolation Ultimate Divine Art. The mighty spiritual turbulence shook from all directions and stretched for hundreds of miles. The land of the demon realm that was shrouded by the black tide, and had just flown to the ancestral realm, seemed to have been shaken by a mighty spiritual smoke. One after another, Dharma idol phantoms with overwhelming demonic might appeared on the ground. Powerful origin energy spread out from the center and spread out in all directions. Bibidon used all kinds of powerful techniques, some of which she did not have the chance to use in the black tide. However, all of these seemed to be useless. These nothingness beings did not suffer much damage. On the contrary, Bibidon's ferocious methods caused the dark demonic energy in her body to rapidly decrease. Coupled with the corrosion of the special dark energy in the surroundings, she gradually began to weaken. No, Bibidon held a special demonic scythe and supported herself on the ground. This demonic scythe was the divine artifact that she used as the Rakshasa god of the divine world. Even in the divine world, she did not throw it away. Instead, she carried it with her. What should I do? Bibidon was a little confused. It was not the first time she faced these nothingness beings. Even the Yama Lord could not deal with them. How could she deal with them? If this continued, it was hard to say whether she could survive, let alone leave the black tide. Crack, she gently picked up the death scythe in her hand. The cold touch passed from the scythe to her palm. This divine artifact that had accompanied her for countless years had already gained sentience. She did not know how many times she had strengthened it. After all, he had helped her get this scythe. Chapter 1583. Thinking of this, Bibidon closed her eyes, as if she saw the scene of holding the black scythe of death in the Luosha secret realm back in the Douluo continent. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. Fighting like this is ineffective against those void life forms. A majestic voice sounded from above. There was a vast and unfathomable majesty. Bibidon suddenly opened her eyes. Who is it? She looked around but didn't see anyone. But the voice came from afar. And, at this time, why are you still in a daze? What are you thinking about? The voice sounded again. Space distorted. A figure slowly appeared. Seeing this figure, Bibidon was stunned. How to say it? It was very strange. He seemed to be a little old, but whether it was his facial features or his figure, it could be seen that he was perfect before. Especially those eyes, the pitch-black pupils were as vast and deep as the stars in the universe. His face seemed to have experienced countless years of reincarnation. There were a few strands of white hair at his temples, as if he didn't have much lifespan left. But that kind of charm was unparalleled. It was as if he was a middle-aged powerhouse who had ruled the heavens for countless years and experienced the fall of the world. But he could kill all the opposite sex of all ages. For a moment, she didn't recognize who this figure was. Because the difference in temperament and aura from the Wang Wu in her memory and the guy she saw in the Soul Demon Sacred City was too great. Wang Feng wasn't surprised. He stayed in the primal chaos for more than 120,000 years, although time didn't move forward. But whether it was temperament or appearance, there would definitely be a huge change. When he came out of the primal chaos, Wang Feng was even older than now, like an old man. Later on, he recovered a little and had his current appearance. And he felt that this appearance seemed to be quite good. There was an obvious difference from the pure handsomeness of his original body. You are the master of this great world? Bibidon stared at the latter, feeling that he was somewhat familiar. However, she didn't have any premonition. This was very strange. When Wang Feng heard this, he suddenly realized that she didn't seem to recognize him. As if thinking of something, Wang Feng smiled and said, "No. Bibidon." She heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that he wasn't. If this person was that universe-level life form, then only death awaited him. Could it be that they were also pulled into the great world? While he was thinking, he heard Wang Feng speak. "I'm the boss of this major world's controller." Bibidon was stunned on the spot. Wang Feng looked at the other party in a daze and wanted to laugh. "I won't joke with you anymore. You won't be able to get rid of these void beings with your methods alone. Let me teach you a move. See if you can succeed." After saying that, Wang Feng paused. He was now asking Yan Mengyao to project him here. His body was still billions of miles away, and there was no time at all. The Bibidon had already started fighting when they came back. It was Yan Mengyao who told him. Read well, if he landed here directly, it would cause the nearby space to tremble, which would cause the energy in the black tide to spill out, making it even harder to control. Wang Feng had also thought of a way to deal with the black tide, and he did not want the energy in the black tide to leak out. So he simply used a faster way to project himself down and find Bibidon first. "What do you mean?" Bibidon frowned and looked at the figure. He suddenly appeared and said that he was the boss of this major world's controller and wanted to teach him a move. This familiar tone, Bibidong's mind shook as he expressionlessly said, "You're Wang Wu, I'm not. I've already killed Wang Wu. He took my Heaven Styx river, and let your dark demon realm's demon god, Huang Hai, steal a strand of demonic energy I left behind. He even faked my name and committed a heinous crime. I took him into the ancestral realm, so I naturally won't let him go." Wang Feng pretended to be serious and said, "Humph, no need to pretend." Unexpectedly, Bibidon seemed to have seen through everything and stared at Wang Feng. "Your appearance has changed a lot. But I can see it at a glance. Don't I know you well?" "Wang Feng. Do you want to see me wailing and heartbroken when I know you're dead?" Bibidon sneered. "Childish. That kind of thing will never happen to me. Wang Wu, if you're really dead, then you don't deserve to be my man." Wang Feng wanted to wipe off his cold sweat. Well, he did have that kind of thought just now. He wanted to see how Bibidon would react when she knew he was dead. But obviously, Bibidon really saw through it. In fact, Wang Feng could use the primordial origin to analyze Bibidon. With his understanding of Bibidon, it was easy to do. He could directly pry into the other party's mind, know the other party's weakness, and even know everything. He could do it so that Bibidon could not see through it. But Wang Feng did not want to do it because it was meaningless. He did not want to use the primordial origin on the woman beside him. On the contrary, the arrogant and cold Bibidon in front of him was the appearance he was familiar with. "Tell me, how do we deal with these void life forms?" Bibidon changed the topic and asked softly. "Wang Feng. These void life forms can't be destroyed through normal means. To be precise, they are currently indestructible." Wang Feng immediately replied. "But it's not impossible to deal with them. You should have seen it long ago. They have intelligence, only pure consciousness. But why did they attack you?" "The reason is simple. Because you're not the same kind," Wang Feng said slowly. Bibidon nodded. That was right. So, to deal with them, you only need to temporarily become the same kind. They will naturally retreat. Wang Feng continued. Bibidon was stunned when she heard this. This method was too damn simple and direct. But it seemed feasible? They are void life forms. How can I temporarily become them? Bibidon looked at Wang Feng, her eyes flashing slightly, and asked indifferently. She was feeling very complicated now. The panic in her heart had disappeared without a trace. All the panic in her heart had disappeared when she recognized the other party. She was even very excited and excited. Of course, she could not let Wang Wu see this. Soul out of the body. Wang Feng spat out 4 words. Then use the demonic soul to absorb the surrounding energy. Just for a moment, let them sense the aura of the same kind. But after absorbing the energy into the soul, do you think I can still live to see you again? Bibidon asked. This energy is very harmful to the soul. Even a demonic god can't withstand absorbing a little. Even if you can withstand it for a while, it will be difficult to recover. Bibidon was right. The energy in the black tide was formed by the chaotic energy and the soul energy of the fallen cosmic life forms. Once it was absorbed into the soul, it would be very dangerous. Don't you still have me? Wang Feng coughed a few times and said, It's fine as long as you can withstand it for a while. Wang Feng paused and said, I can help you suck it out. Chapter 1584. I can help you suck it out. Wang Feng said with a serious expression. You? Bibidon looked at Wang Feng suspiciously. After a few seconds of silence, it nodded. Okay. So straightforward. Aren't you afraid that I'm a fake? Wang Feng was slightly surprised. Are you sure that I'm Wang Wu? They hadn't seen each other for so many years. No matter how familiar Bibidon was with him, did it not have a trace of doubt in its heart? Did it not even test him? I'm not in the mood to play those testing games with you, Bibidon said firmly. I don't care if you're him or not. I have no choice now. That's true. Wang Feng looked at the void lifeforms around him. Let's begin. Bibidon took a deep breath and placed the death demon scythe around. Wang Feng glanced at it. This scythe was still the same as the one in his memory, but there were some slight changes. There are a few more strange words in the middle. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at it for a few seconds. He realized that he could not understand these words. It was probably the language of another world. Should I use primordial origins to analyze it? Wang Feng felt that these words should be a sentence. Since Bibidon had carved this sentence on the death demon scythe, it meant that it should be very important. However, after thinking about it, he decided not to. There was no need. Wang Feng stared at Bibidon and quickly rushed over. Not long after, a soul flew out of the Sky Demon Lord's body. His soul was graceful and ethereal, yet his entire body emanated strands of quintessence aura. It looked very different from the Sky Demon Lord. The Sky Demon Lord's body was the eternal Godslayer. It was made of magical machines and had no gender. It only had the appearance of an orthodox soul demon. It was not Bibidon herself. She was just using this eternal Godslayer to cultivate. The soul, however, was the Bibidon in Wang Feng's memory. It was just that the aura had changed greatly. God. Bibidon's soul uttered an ancient language faintly. The soul suddenly erupted with a bright light. The soul's form suddenly increased and quickly grew taller. It turned into an extremely majestic Dharma idol that was several meters tall. It sat cross-legged in the clouds. Wang Feng's heart skipped a beat. At this moment, he could feel that Bibidon's aura had indeed undergone an earth-shaking change. When we parted back then, she was only the Martial Spirit Palace's Pope. Even after she unified the continent and established the Martial Spirit Federation, I've never seen her with my own eyes. Wang Feng sighed. The soul in front of him was like the Dharma idol of heaven and earth, filled with majesty. The form of the soul could basically represent the body of the main body. Immediately after, the surrounding energy began to converge into his soul like a whale sucking in water. The energy in the black tide was indeed different. Almost at the moment when it was absorbed into his soul, Wang Feng saw Bibidon frown. It wasn't painful, but it definitely had a strong impact on the soul. Wang Feng watched with rapt attention. If anything happened, he could shatter the space of the ancestral realm and come here directly. It did not matter even if the energy of the black tide leaked out. Of course, that was just in case. As the energy entered Bibidon's soul, her soul began to change slightly. From its original transparent appearance, it seemed to have been dyed with purple light, turning into a purple spiritual body. Moreover, it quickly engulfed the whole body. The plan is indeed feasible. The primordial origin analyzed it. There is no problem. Wang Feng breathed a sigh of relief. He looked around. As expected, the void beings began to disperse. It circled around Bibi Dong's soul, and let out a soft hum before slowly dispersing. A moment later, the soul opened its eyes. At this time, Bibidan's soul could no longer be seen. Leave here first. I know the specific location of your Clear Sky Palace's people. If you want to take them out of the black tide, you can use the same method. After you get out of the range of the black tide, I will immediately appear and help you to absorb the energy. Wang Feng only saw a dot of light enter Bibidan's soul. His projection began to fade slowly. Wait. At this time, Bibidan's soul began to whisper. What's wrong? Wang Wu. I ask you, why are you here? Of course it's for you, Wang Feng said without hesitation. You can get lost now. Bibidan's soul quickly disappeared with the body of the heavenly demon lord. His voice came intermittently. Wang Feng was stunned. He shook his head and slowly disappeared. Bibidan touched his cheek. Souls had no sense of touch, but there was always a feeling of blushing in his heart. This guy. Bibidan was a little embarrassed. So direct. I want to ask you what happened to your body. Those void beings have disappeared. I can still hold on for a while. I want you to explain the situation, and you say such mushy words as soon as you come. But it was really him. Thinking of this, Bibidan's depression disappeared. Even if his soul had absorbed the energy of the black tide, it was very dangerous, but she was in a very good mood. According to the location information given by Wang Feng found Demon Master No Flower and the other Demon Masters of the Clear Sky Palace. These Demon Masters were originally following her to investigate the situation of the black tide. But the situation changed so quickly that they were surrounded by the black tide. This method is so dangerous. Lord, what exactly are you? When the Demon Masters of the Clear Sky Palace first heard this method, they were really shocked. Don't ask too much. When the time comes, there will naturally be a way to help you solve it. Now, use your soul to absorb the energy and let these void beings see us as the same kind. Then, let's go out first. Bibidan transmitted her voice to the Demon Masters using her soul. The Demon Masters were a little hesitant, but after No Flower Demon Master's example, it was much better. After all, they were all her trusted subordinates in the Clear Sky Palace. She still trusted them, and there was indeed no other way now. Not to mention that this was the great world of that universe-level being. After a while, Bibidan led the Demon Masters out of the area covered by the black tide. The vast land. In the distance, mountains surrounded it. Abundant and powerful energy flowed between heaven and earth. This is the great world of that ancestor demon? No Flower Demon Master looked at the world in the distance and was stunned. With his knowledge, he could somewhat see the potential of this world. Other things aside, just the energy overflowing in the space was more suitable for cultivation than the dark demon energy of the dark demon world. It was more suitable for more life forms to cultivate. Like the dark demon energy, only soul demons could absorb it for cultivation. If other life forms wanted to absorb the dark demon energy, they would have to pay a huge price. This in itself was actually a kind of limitation. Although there were many races in the dark demon world, most of them were evolved from soul demons. They had not broken away from the soul demon race. And in this great world, this foundation meant that it could give birth to many powerful life forms. Different races had different abilities. End of chapter. Chapter 1585. The energy here is really comfortable. Back then, when we absorbed and refined the dark demon energy, even with our demon bodies, we had to endure some pain. The energy of this great world is much more comfortable. It's even better than the divine world. A demon master sighed. Bibidon nodded slightly. She came from the divine world. The environment of the divine world was actually much better than the dark demon world, but the restrictions of the divine world were too severe. Like the dark demon world and Yama Lord who opened up a new cultivation path, killing gods. But the divine world had not changed for countless years. The origin of the 5 worlds' laws seemed to have been fixed. There were only 5 divine kings. A universe-level life forms world is indeed extraordinary. No flower demon master sighed. But at this moment they did not relax. They looked at Sky Demon Master quietly. They had all absorbed the energy of the black tide, and their situation was not very good. At most, they would last for a day. They would probably, after a long time. A demon master was somewhat impatient and hurriedly asked, "That, Lord, where are we?" Bibidon did not turn back. Seeing that Sky Demon Master did not want to answer, this demon master did not want to continue asking. But how should they solve this? Bibidon knew what they wanted to ask, but he thought, I don't know. I have to wait for Wang Wu, that stinky man, to appear. The demon masters became more anxious as they waited. Bibidong, on the other hand, was walking around leisurely. No flower demon master was also not in a hurry. He followed beside Bibidon and also walked around. These demon masters could only helplessly follow. This world seems to have very few life forms. Is it because this place is near the black tide? Oh right, Lord, did you feel the aura of that ancestor demon? Logically speaking, since we are in his great world, it should be easy for him to discover us. No flower demon master was puzzled. Bibidon thought, yes, that guy had discovered me long ago. No flower demon master saw that Bibidon did not speak, but he still continued to ask, have you seen that Di? He is not dead? Oh, smart enough. Bibidon glanced at this old thing. Having lived for so long, his wisdom was extraordinary. Bibidon suddenly remembered that in the spirit demon sacred city, he was on the same side as that wind god Zhu Zhuqing. His voice was cold as he said, He's dead. He's dead. Not even his dregs are left. Hearing this, no flower demon master sighed and said, It seems that it is as I expected. Dai has really offended that ancestor demon. Seeing this, Bibidon suddenly felt like laughing. She found it interesting that the wisest soul demon of the pure heaven palace had such a misunderstanding. The other demon masters also seemed to have found a topic to vent their frustrations. Fortune and misfortune. That human great being pretended to be Di and used a universe-level holy weapon to collect the Heaven Styx River, but because of that, he offended the ancestor demon. Universe-level holy weapons. According to the historical records of Clear Sky Palace, the number of universe-level life forms that have appeared in Dark Demon Sector can be counted on one hand. Most of them live in seclusion and disappear like passers-by. It was also as if once the demonic flower appeared, there was no chance to see its appearance. Not only did he obtain a universe-level saint artifact, but he also obtained the Heaven Nether River. Such a great opportunity is too eye-catching. Yes, it would be difficult for that ancestor demon not to discover it. The other demon masters sighed. Bibidon laughed even more in his heart. Although he didn't know why he wanted to laugh. He wondered what their expressions would be when they found out that this great world was that guy's territory. Thinking of this, Bibidon was still looking forward to it. Why would I look forward to such low-level interests? Boring, boring. Bibidon quickly threw this thought to the back of his mind. He waited quietly. Lord, if that's the case, then we. No flower demon master looked at Bibidon and said in a low voice, Dai is already dead. I believe that ancestor demon won't make things difficult for us. He absorbed all the land of the demon sector that was covered by the black tide into this place. I guess he still has some nostalgia for our dark demon sector. After all, this is his homeland. We have no enmity with him. I believe you are waiting for him to appear and solve it for you, right? A universe-level disaster like the Black Tide and the energy in it can only be solved by that ancestor demon. When Bibidon heard this, he really admired this old thing. His intelligence was really high. He could even guess this. After an unknown amount of time, a silhouette finally appeared in the sky. In an instant, the bodies of many demon masters trembled. Even no flower demon master's heart trembled. He appeared. That ancestor demon, a universe-level life form. They didn't dare to raise their heads. They didn't dare to raise their heads at all. They could also feel that terrifying pressure. It seemed that as long as the other party casually squeezed, he could instantly turn them into ashes. Is this the terror of a universe-level life form? The demon masters were trembling in their hearts. Bibidon looked at these demon masters. His soul seemed to be trembling. His eyes moved slightly, hiding a hint of a smile. Wang Feng slowly descended and landed not far in front of Bibidon. These few demon masters are already so scared. They probably mistook me for that ancestor devil. Wang Feng glanced at Bibidon. Could it be that she didn't say anything? If that was the case, Wang Fengxin's heart moved, and he suddenly spoke. Do you know your wrongs? The demon masters were stunned. They wanted to speak in a panic, but they found that their mouths seemed to be blocked by something. They couldn't say a single word. Ancestor Demon, we really don't know what kind of mistake we have made. Ancestor Demon, please consider that we are all from the dark demon world and spare our lives. No flower demon master could speak. He immediately knelt down respectfully and said, Back then, you unified the dark demon world. Now that we have continued it, we have some credit, and can be considered as inheriting your will. He only hoped to use this to make this ancestor demon forgive them a little. Unfortunately, this ancestor demon's deeds were too far in the past. It had already crossed 2 great eras. Even he, when the ancestor demon was still alive, he wasn't even born. Hence, it was impossible to understand this ancestor demon's temperament. He could only throw a stone to test the waters. Bibidon glanced at Wang Feng from the corner of his eyes. He wasn't afraid at all. Who told you that I am that ancestor demon? Wang Feng narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, You don't even know me. Do you know what kind of offense this is? As the last word fell, Wang Feng waved his hand casually. A powerful origin force flashed down like the sun. Leave this heavenly demon master of yours behind as an apology. I've taken a fancy to her. Wang Feng changed the topic and said again. Under the control of the devouring origin, the energy contained in the black tide in the souls of these demon masters was instantly absorbed. At the same time, they were also sent out of the ancestral realm. Bibidon. After sending these demon masters away, Wang Feng looked at Bibidon and said with a mocking expression, Interesting, right? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Bibidon looked as if he didn't know anything. Wang Feng smiled and didn't expose Bibidon. She could have directly told those demon masters her identity. But she didn't say anything. Instead, she just watched. It was as if she wanted to watch a show and found it very interesting. It was really rare to see such interest from her. By the way, where is your true body? Wang Feng seemed to have thought of something and asked. Bibidon glared at him. Chapter 1586. No. Bibidon said calmly. Wang Feng was stunned. No? What did that mean? Wang Feng was asking about Bibidon's original body. Not the body of the heavenly devil Venerable, which was the eternal god-slaying Set. How could it not be? After all, when it recovered, Wang Feng did not want to talk to a body made of a magical machine. You really don't have it? Wang Feng began to circulate his devour origin and quickly devoured the special energy in Bibidon's soul. No. Bibidon's tone was stiff. Then I'll help you make one. Wang Feng pondered for a moment, You can't always use this eternal Godslayer as a body. After a long time, it will cause physiological diseases. The energy in the soul was gradually absorbed by Wang Feng's devour origin. It slowly recovered to its original state. Hearing this, Bibidon didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Don't think I don't know what you want. What else can I want? Wang Feng sighed and glanced at Sky Demon Lord's body. You can't expect me to hug a piece of cold steel, can you? Bibidon's eyes flashed with embarrassment, but he said calmly, Why, haven't you hugged enough of the enchanting beauty in the Soul Demon Holy City? Hugging this steel body now, I think it's pretty good. Oh, he was jealous. Wang Feng suddenly understood. Damn, he was still brooding about the Soul Demon Holy City? At that time, he was on Zhu Zhuqing's side, and Bibidon used the identity of Sky Demon Lord to pretend to be Di. During that time, he had hugged Zhu Zhuqing a lot. To say that he hugged enough, definitely not enough. But the feeling was different. Of course, Wang Feng couldn't say this out loud. And that in the sky above the Soul Demon Holy City. Bibidon turned around and shook his head, as if he didn't care at all, looking at the distant sky, and said calmly, Stand up for the woman who is related to the Silver Dragon. Are you very protective of the fairer sex? That's right, you've been in the divine realm for so many years, and those two girls are still obsessed with you. You're so charming. It's nothing. Wang Feng waved his hand. Bibidon felt the urge to pick up the death magic scythe from the ground and swing it at him. Thinking about it, he calmed down. At this moment, Wang Feng spoke again. Unfortunately, no matter how charming I am, I can't charm someone. Wang Feng looked at the sky and pretended to be bitter. Someone? Who is it? Bibidon asked casually. Wang Feng walked over to the corpse of the Heavenly Devil Exalt and said, Of course it's the Heavenly Devil Exalt before me. Who else could it be? Who made her body and mind as tough as steel? Even God can't do anything to her. Bibidon raised his head. Childish, she said. You still want to use these mortal methods. I won't fall for it. With that, Bibidon turned around. After a moment of silence, he glanced at Wang Feng and said, Can you really help me forge a body? Hearing this, Wang Fengxin smiled. He couldn't help but nod. Of course I can. There are a lot of resources in this world. Although many of them are still in a nascent state, they can be used to nurture a body. But what about your original body? Wang Feng nodded confidently. Why? Do you miss my original body so much? Bibidon narrowed his eyes. So, you were completely infatuated with my Pope's body? F***ck. Why was she jealous of her own body? Wang Fengxin sweated. Logically speaking, shouldn't a woman be happy to be infatuated with a woman's body? However, Bibidon's ability to argue was top-notch. Of course not, Wang Feng said righteously. It's just that I want the Dong-er in my memory to appear in front of me in perfect condition. Chi. Bibidon snorted. That body. I lent it to someone else, Bibidon said lightly. Wang Feng's mind was full of question marks. How could it be lent? Wang Fengxin was shocked. He was a little unhappy. How could it be lent to someone else? Who did you lend it to? Wang Feng asked directly. Speaking of which, Bibidon's body was made by him, right? How could he lend it to someone else? You want to know? Bibidon's lips curled into a smile. He seemed to sense Wang Feng's dissatisfaction. Wang Feng nodded. I'm not telling you. Bibidon raised his chin. Wang Feng frowned slightly and said nothing. He wasn't very angry. He was just thinking about what Bibidon had gone through all these years that he could even lend his body to someone else. There must be a story behind it. After all, so many years had passed. Oh? Are you angry? Bibidon was suddenly in a good mood. His tone was not as calm as before. There was a rare joy in it. A little. Wang Feng nodded. Your previous body was made by me personally. I'm very familiar with every inch of it. You. Bibidon broke through his defenses. Even his soul showed an embarrassed and angry expression. Lending it to someone else. Wang Feng said seriously, "Aren't you harming others?" Bibidong was speechless. "We haven't seen each other for so many years. Do you want to anger me so much?" Bibidong looked at Wang Feng and said coldly, "Aren't you the one who angered me first?" Wang Feng said, "You even lent the body that I personally made for you to someone else." Bibidon's expression eased when he heard that. He snorted and said, "What? You hooked up with so many women in the mortal world, and I didn't say anything. Now that I've lent my body to someone else, you're angry?" "That's not the same thing," Wang Feng coughed and said. "Women always don't like to be reasonable. That's not the same thing. How can that be? It seems that even Bibidon can't avoid being vulgar." "Forget it. I won't argue with you." Bibidon sighed slightly and said generously, "I lent my body to the Lord of Hell." "What? Lent it to the Lord of Hell? The Lord of Hell?" Wang Feng remembered that the Lord of Hell was a woman. "Oh, that's all right." Wang Fengxin was shocked at first, but then he calmed down. "How can you lend your body to the Lord of Hell?" Wang Feng said angrily. "She's a demon god of the dark demon realm who has lived for an era. How can she covet your evil body? Doesn't she have it herself? Nonsense. She's gone to the reincarnation well now. When I go there, I'll get it back for you." Seeing that Wang Feng was so angry, Bibidong's expression relaxed a little, and his tone also softened a little. "It's very complicated. It's not what you think. You can't blame her. I did it willingly. She also compensated me with this eternal god-slaying body. For me, the benefits outweigh the disadvantages." "That won't do. You have to get it back," Wang Feng said in a tough tone. Hearing this, Bibidon frowned slightly and glanced at Wang Feng. He seemed to have realized something and said lightly, "You can't get it back." End of chapter. Chapter 1587. Didn't you borrow it? Why can't you get it back? Wang Feng asked doubtfully. "Humph, Wang Wu, what are you up to?" Bibidon looked at Wang Feng suspiciously. "You can't be thinking that you can do something just because the Yama Lord is in my body, right?" "How is that possible?" Wang Feng was speechless. He really didn't think so. It's just that the Yama Lord is too special and reasonable. Even before he entered the divine realm, this name was in his mind. As he entered the dark devil realm, he learned more and more, so he was somewhat curious. With this Yama Lord's status and strength, why does he need Bibidon's body? This was what Wang Feng was most curious about. "Let me help you reconstruct your body first." Wang Feng's eyelids twitched and he immediately changed the topic. "Or you can do it yourself. However, it shouldn't be easy for a devil god's body to bear your soul, right? My cultivation has been completely transferred from my original body to this devil lord." Bibidon said, "It will be very troublesome to reconstruct a body. However, I can directly create a simple doppelganger. It's not that easy to reconstruct a devil god's body. It's not that difficult to create a doppelganger with dark devil power. However, there's an essential difference between this and the real body. And Wang Feng's doppelganger can no longer be considered a doppelganger. It's exactly the same as the real body. Bibidon's meaning is very simple to create a doppelganger. That won't do." Wang Feng said, "I can't tolerate you being in this cold, eternal god-slaying body in the future." "Master, you're discriminating against eternal god-slaying body." Yan Mingyao's voice sounded in Wang Feng's mind. She was very angry. So what if it's eternal god-slaying body? This body created by eternal god-slaying body is very amazing. It's even more powerful than a devil god's body. "What do you know? That's still a cold body," Wang Feng replied. "Humph, I think Master wants to be intimate with this Master's mother, so you don't think it's good?" Yan Mengyao said sarcastically. Yan Mengyao, who was usually incomparably charming, was like a kitten that had its little foot stepped on. Immediately, its fur bristled, revealing its true nature. Wang Feng felt that this was probably because the Yama Lord was her true creator. Or perhaps, since they were both eternal godslayers, in some sense they were of the same race? Furthermore, they were the only two races in the entire universe. That's right, that's right. I've tolerated you for a long time. At this moment, an immature voice came from the body. My existence and form were personally created by the Yama Master for my master. It could be said that it was the most suitable form for its master. Compared to pure demon gods, they were many times stronger. Moreover, he had unparalleled potential. Yet, you described it as a cold tool. Unforgivable. Wang Feng stared at the celestial demon sovereign's body. This is? Wang Feng looked at the Bibidon. The spiritual life forms in the eternal Godslayer are equivalent to artifact spirit. Bibidon looked at Wang Feng with a faint smile. Since you were able to walk out of the eternal shrine, it means that you also obtained the eternal Godslayer, right? What? You don't know? By the way, what is your eternal God-slaying spirit body like? This. Wang Fengxin broke out in cold sweat. With Yan Mingyao's devastatingly enchanting appearance, if Bibidon were to know, it's about the same as this. Wang Feng coughed a few times. Your artifact spirit seems to be very small? Because it was just created not long ago. Bibidon nodded slightly, pretending not to notice Wang Feng's abnormality. However, it's quite a good child. It's right, this demonic body is indeed the most suitable for me. That's right, that's right. Master, please don't abandon Nini. An anxious voice with a bit of fear came urgently. It was like a little brat who was about to be abandoned by his parents, the kind that cried and shouted while chasing after him. Wang Feng did not expect this. Generally speaking, artifact spirits would not appear rashly. They were spiritual bodies. If they were discovered, it would be more dangerous. If they left the eternal Godslayer, it would be even more dangerous. This silly child was probably afraid that the Bibidon would really abandon him. After thinking for a while, Wang Feng explained, she's not leaving you. She's just becoming what she should be. She will still use you. For example, she will use you as a cultivation vessel. What about your master? She's a human. A human should have their own body. Look, your master's soul is so beautiful. She can't always keep you in this soul demon's body. This is also very distressing for your master. I'm not distressed at all. Bibidon continued. Can you not expose me? I'm helping you to coax her. Wang Feng's face darkened. Nini knows. The artifact spirit who called herself Nini said hesitantly. You know? Wang Feng was very surprised. Master often thinks of a person called Wang Wu. Nini seemed to be recalling something. Her voice was very clear. Sometimes she also thinks of, she thought for a while, as if she was searching for a word. Nini, don't say any more. At this time, Bibidon seemed to have thought of something and immediately stopped her. But obviously it was a bit late. As soon as he finished speaking, Nini said, it's that kind of mating between mortals of the opposite sex. Oh, I think it's called love. You need Master's body. You probably want to make love with Master, right? Anyway, it's the kind of things that lovers do. Nini's childish voice made Bibidon blush. Even with Wang Feng's thick skin, he couldn't bear it. This silly child, how could she be so straightforward? Really? But she really knows a lot. Bibidon opened his mouth, wanting to say something to Wang Feng. Wang Feng immediately waved his hand. Needless to say, I understand. You, the artifact spirit of the eternal God Slayer, are too young. Children's words carry no harm. It's all nonsense. You definitely haven't thought of these things in your heart. I understand. Bibidon glared at Wang Feng, embarrassed and angry. Am I so easy to coax? That's what you say, but it's impossible that you think so in your heart. He, Master, look, we eternal God Slayer have the wisdom of countless civilizations. You can't even hide your thoughts from the eternal God Slayer. Yan Mengyao giggled. What do I need to hide? Wang Feng said disdainfully. What's there to hide when I'm intimate with my lover? You inflatable artifact spirits seem to know a lot, but in fact you know nothing. Yan Mengyao's seductive voice sounded. Master, are you flirting with me? You're really a bastard. You're flirting with other women when you're with your lover. Besides, I don't understand. Master, can you make me understand? Sorry, I don't think of you as a woman. Wang Feng coughed a few times. Then, he blocked Yan Mengyao's voice. Actually, I can do it without leaving Nini's body. At this time, Nini's childish voice sounded in the body of the heavenly fiend supremacy. Wang Feng was stunned. His mind was full of question marks. Wang Feng looked at Bibidon with a puzzled face. The latter turned his head with an expression that said, I don't know anything. End of chapter. Chapter 1588. Wang Feng scanned the body of the heavenly demon supremacy and said in a strange voice, This shouldn't work, right? This is the body of a soul demon. It is made of many parts. Since you know so much, you should know that humans don't have much interest in a pile of parts. Humph. Bibidon sneered but did not say anything. No, Nini said seriously. When Yama Lord made it, he had considered that since the eternal God Slayer was made into a body, it would have all the functions of a body. It's just that Master didn't tell you. Huh. Wang Feng immediately looked at Bibidon. Nini is talking nonsense. I don't know it all. Bibidon replied. She is still very young and has not been cultivated yet. Many of her functions have not been fully revealed. I don't know it all. She emphasized in the end. Master. You clearly. Nini's surprised voice sounded, but before she could finish, Bibidon interrupted her. Tell me, what should I do? If you want to become Master's original appearance, you just need to activate another mode. It's just that the conditions are a little harsh. Nini replied. Tell me about it. Wang Feng felt a little strange. Could Yama Lord think so far ahead? Could it be that Bibidon had told Yama Lord about her and him? Was that why Yama Lord could think so much? However, with Bibidon's personality, would she share such a private matter with others? Then, their relationship was probably not just a normal good one. But it made sense. They could even borrow each other's bodies. Their relationship was indeed not ordinary. It was just that borrowing each other's bodies hid the intention of an exchange. But this kind of private sharing, Master needs to have the strength of Yama Lord or cultivate me into a complete body to release this mode and change the body of this heavenly demon supremacy at will. It can also easily change back to Master's original appearance. Nini gave a very ordinary answer. Then it can't be done in a short time. Bibidon said. It will take a long time to cultivate you into a complete body or reach the strength of Yama Lord. Wang Feng frowned slightly. As soon as Bibidon finished speaking, her soul flew into the body of the heavenly demon supremacy. Heavenly demon Venerable slowly opened his eyes. Is that so? Wang Feng felt that it was a pity. The eternal God Slayer was not like other God Slayers. It was very difficult to cultivate them, and he had the strength of a Yama Master. This was even more unrealistic. Something doesn't feel right. Wang Feng glanced at the Bibidon. Could it be made up? If that was the case, it was likely that Bibidon's anger had not completely dissipated, or there were other grudges in his heart. I think this body is not bad. Bibidon loosened his limbs and said with a faint smile, although he is a soul demon, his appearance and body are perfect. If you want a hug, you can hug this body. Wang Feng. Is it Xiao Shui? Wang Feng suddenly asked. Bibidon was stunned. A trace of panic flashed in his eyes, but his voice was still calm as he said, you still have the nerve to mention Xiao Shui. You should know the message I left for you in the Martial Spirit Federation, right? Why did you come to the dark devil world to find me? Wang Feng shook his head helplessly. As expected, when he was in the Martial Spirit Federation's Martial Spirit Palace, Wang Feng heard the consciousness message Bibidon left behind. She came to the dark devil world for many reasons, the most important of which were to find Qian Rinxue and Hu Laiina. She also said that if Wang Feng could not find Qian Rinxue, there was no need to look for her. Speaking of which, Wang Feng was not too sure what happened after Qian Rinxue ascended to the God world. How did he disappear in the end? Thinking of this, the missing part of Wang Feng's memory suddenly flashed. When he was in the chaos, Wang Feng comprehended the primordial origin and reviewed all his memories. Later, he used the primordial origin to directly deduce the missing memories. It should be almost the same as the memories of the main body. Wang Feng remembered that he entered the Star Soul Road in the God World's Void Domain and finally found the God World's Genesis Mana, which was that Shiyu. Shiyu asked Wang Feng to go to the Dark Devil World to find the Genesis Mana so that he could open the plain passage to the Faith Temple. At the same time, Wang Feng also asked Shiyu for two conditions. One was to obtain the skin of the Origin Tribulation Deity King to scare off Demon Lord Shang. There was another one that was not said at the time, but Wang Feng knew clearly after deducing the memories. That was to find information about Qian Rinxue. Because Qian Rinxue disappeared after ascending to the God world, Shiyu, who was in charge of the reincarnation sea in the God world, must know where Qian Rinxue went. Therefore, he came to the dark devil world for this reason. Wang Feng opened his mouth and did not know what to say for a moment. Because he really did not have any information about Qian Rinxue. Send me out of here. Seeing Wang Feng fall silent, Bibidon was also silent for a while before slowly speaking. Even if Wang Feng had thousands of words, he could not speak. It was just that he knew the specific reason. He could only sigh in his heart. Wait, about the reincarnation well? Wang Feng quickly asked. Bibidon must have detailed information here. Because the Lord of Hell went to the reincarnation well. Why, are you going to find the Lord of Hell? Bibidon narrowed his eyes, emitting a murderous aura. Of course not. I have something to do at the reincarnation well, Wang Feng said in a low voice. In addition to checking in, Wang Feng also needed to confirm what the system was. Humph, I'll believe you for now. Bibidon turned around and said, You should know all about the reincarnation well. If you ask me, the answer will be the same. Of course, Wang Feng knew some information about the reincarnation well. But how to get there? The ancestor demon searched for the reincarnation well for countless years before finding it. He even used the overflowing well water to transport it into the Tianming River. But he did not leave any detailed information. How did the Lord of Hell find the reincarnation well? The reincarnation well, Bibidon said indifferently, only after the soul demon's death and the demon's soul is guided there. In short, you will only know after you die. Hearing this, Wang Feng was stunned. He knew about this rumor. But then the Lord of Hell burned his demon body and was guided to the reincarnation well with his demon soul. The Lord of Hell is dead. Wang Feng was shocked. Theoretically, you can say that his demon body is gone and his demon soul went to the reincarnation well. Wang Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. He had thought about this possibility before, but he always felt that it was impossible. The Lord of Hell was at the peak of an era in the dark demon realm. Was this the only way to find the reincarnation well? Thinking of this, Wang Feng fell silent. So, could it be that he had to abandon his body and exist in the world as his soul to find the reincarnation well? If that was the case, it was too lame. Wait, Wang Feng seemed to think of something and gradually had an idea. Perhaps it was not impossible. End of chapter. Chapter 1589. I'll send you out. Wang Feng looked at Bibidon. Don't worry, I'll find Xiao Shui. After thinking for a bit, Wang Feng walked to the side of this heavenly demon lord and hugged her. "I've never despised you for what you look like." Wang Feng smiled. "Chi," Bibidon muttered. She lowered her head slightly and closed her eyes. Her body suddenly changed. Wang Feng was stunned. He watched as Bibidon's heavenly demon lord slowly changed into her original appearance. She was wearing a luxurious black dress. She was tall and graceful. Her facial features were as beautiful as a painting. There was an air of majesty between her brows that was no different from her soul. Women really know how to deceive people. Wang Fengxin thought to himself. Why would I need any conditions? You probably forced Nini to say that to deceive me. At this moment, Bibidon lowered her head slightly. Wang Feng felt a trace of moisture on his face. Bibidon's figure flashed and disappeared into the distance. "Send me back to the dark demon realm." There was a hint of anger in her voice, mixed with a hint of shyness. Wang Feng touched his face and coughed a few times. "All right, I'll send you away now." Wang Feng waved his hand. A light flashed and space tore apart, enveloping Bibidon in the distance and disappearing. Only a faint voice could be heard. "Don't come looking for me. Unless you find Xiao Shui." Even if I come looking for you and run to your bed, would you reject me?" Wang Fengxin said. He somewhat understood Bibidon's current thoughts. It was just that she couldn't let go of the relationship between the three of them. "You've become a deity for so many years, and even a demon lord. Can't you be a bit more carefree?" Wang Fengxin said. He shook his head to get rid of the distracting thoughts in his mind for now. He turned around, looked at the black tide in the distance, and took a deep breath. "Master, are you going to start? Whatever you plan to do, I will cooperate with you." Yan Mengyao floated in the air and looked at Wang Feng with excitement. "You can do whatever you want." Wang Feng glared at her. This artifact's spirit's every word could make one's thoughts go astray. That's right. Next, he planned to use the black tide to establish the core reincarnation cycle for the ancestral realm. These void life forms, they are the billions of soul particles that were scattered all over the universe after the universe-level life forms died, combined with the chaotic energy of countless primal chaos worlds to create these void life forms. Wang Feng looked at the black tide. They can't give birth to consciousness, but if we have the ancestral realm and reincarnation, we can throw all these void beings into the reincarnation cycle and let the ancestral realm produce the powerful beings that were born here. The primal chaos before the ancestral realm was not like the myths and legends in Wang Feng's past life, where powerful creatures were born in the primal chaos. There was no such thing. Only after heaven and earth were created could life be slowly born. This required countless years of nurturing. However, if the ancestral realm had the reincarnation cycle first, and then threw these incorporeal beings into the cycle, they would be able to give birth to the first batch of powerful innate beings in this world. Moreover, their souls would contain the soul particles of the universe-level life forms, which meant that they would be extremely powerful. The ancestral realm was now closely related to him. The stronger the ancestral realm was, the stronger Wang Feng would be. But how should we establish the reincarnation cycle? Yan Mengyao pondered. The reincarnation cycle involves the most important law of the world. There are many differences in the reincarnation cycle of each world. If we want to truly establish it, it will be even more difficult. We don't even have a detailed way. Especially the reincarnation cycle in the Great World, it is even more difficult to establish. Wang Feng frowned slightly. He suddenly thought of the myths and legends in his past life. It seemed to be quite compatible with the ancestral realm. Let's divide the world first. That is, reincarnation. Wang Feng pondered. Naturally, it cannot be equated with the ordinary world. Let's create a small world in the ancestral realm. Let's call it Underworld. Draw the energy from the black tide into this world. My devouring origin can only suck this energy out, but it cannot store it in my body. It can be stored in this world and used to lock souls. Moreover, Wang Feng glanced at those void life forms. These void life forms are also a type of spirit body. They are far more powerful than the souls of real demon gods. This energy has 60% to 70% of the chaos cheese effect and has many miraculous abilities. It has an extremely strong effect on souls, but it will cause them to lose consciousness. Interesting. This can be used as reincarnation. Create a small world? Yan Mengyao thought for a moment. Master, I can't do that. The ancestral realm is very powerful. As the heavenly Tao, I can't just casually create a world. It's fine as long as I can do it, Wang Feng said lightly. What about after you create it? Establish the 9 paths of reincarnation, Wang Feng said slowly. Divide this world's living beings into 9 different types. 9 paths. Yan Mengyao listened carefully. These 9 paths meant that Master was going to create 9 different types of living beings. Divine Tao, Ghost Tao, Demonic Beast Tao, Azura Tao, Human Tao, Spirit Tao, Yin-Yang Tao, and the last one, Heavenly Tao. Yan Mengyao pondered for a moment and had a concept in her heart. In fact, it was 9 different races. Interesting. Yan Mengyao continued to ask, what do these 9 paths represent? I'm afraid I won't be able to explain everything in detail. Wang Feng pondered. Because other than the 9 paths of reincarnation and the underworld, I plan to create a few more special worlds from the ancestral realm for other purposes. However, the 9 paths of reincarnation in the underworld is more important now. How do you split it? Of course, I'll use the primordial origin. Wang Feng smiled. The primordial origin has recorded the Pangu Act. It's not difficult for me to use it to create the ancestral realm. It'll just take some time. However, the time law of the ancestral realm is determined by you. It's not fully formed yet, so there's no hurry. As a newborn world, the ancestral realm had all kinds of complicated laws that couldn't be formed in a short time. Normally, it would take tens of thousands of years to settle down before it slowly stabilized. It didn't matter how long Wang Feng stayed in the ancestral realm. Just like the chaos back then, there was almost no change in the outside world. However, the ancestral realm was a newborn world after all. It could clearly feel the passage of time, although it would be very slow. Thinking of this, Wang Feng didn't hesitate. He gently opened his palm, and the triangular model representing the primordial origin appeared in the air. The Pangu axe in the primordial origin lit up slightly. In an instant, the primordial origin spun wildly, driving the endless energy between heaven and earth to form a terrifying torrent. An ancient axe with a somewhat rough shape appeared in Wang Feng's hand. It looked like an axe used by an ordinary woodcutter to chop down trees. However, it had the charm of breaking through the barren land. After all, it's a simulated Pangu axe created by the primordial origin. It has the charm, but it doesn't feel real. Wang Fengxin shook his head. The primordial origin wasn't strong enough. Otherwise, he would be able to perfectly replicate the real Pangu axe. It might even be comparable to the real Pangu axe. Of course, it would take some time. Or perhaps, Wang Feng had obtained the real Pangu axe. However, if he had the real Pangu axe and not the martial soul, he wouldn't need to simulate it with the primordial origin. Thinking of this, Wang Feng looked at the black tide in front of him. He flew into the clouds and slashed down with the axe. End of chapter. Chapter 1590. Light and shadow intertwined, and thunder turned into a pool. As Wang Feng swung his axe down, the space collapsed and countless cracks appeared in the sky, with Wang Feng as the center, spreading to the entire area of the black tide below. With every swing of the axe, the cracks spread rapidly, enveloping the entire area covered by the black tide. Yan Mengyao. Wang Feng's eyes shot out 2 rays of star-like light. Here. Yen Mengyao hurriedly controlled the eternal god-slaying giant tree in the center of the middle world to assist her master, patching up the broken laws of heaven and earth, and then forming a new small world in this separated world, and began to weave the laws of hell. As the heavenly Tao, Yen Mengyao, together with the eternal god-slaying giant tree, controlled the operation of the entire world. The giant tree and the ancestral realm had been completely connected since the beginning of chaos. Now that the ancestral realm wanted to separate the small world, all the laws of heaven and earth naturally had to be completed by Yen Mengyao, who controlled the eternal god-slaying giant tree. As for Wang Feng, he was just a tool to split out the underworld. The giant tree in the center of the ancestral realm bloomed with the same bright light, flashing countless energy torrents of different colors, and entering the black tide from all directions. It merged with the laws of the black tide world. Wang Feng, on the other hand, was like a craftsman who did not know what fatigue was. Axe after axe hacked down from the sky. After an unknown period of time, when Wang Feng felt that his divine power was about to be exhausted, the land where the black tide was located had completely separated from the ancestral realm, forming a new small world. Master, it's done. The underworld you mentioned has been split out. Compared to the entire ancestral realm, it's probably less than a millionth of the size. Yen Mengyao pretended to wipe the sweat on her forehead, flew to Wang Feng's side and said sweetly, "You've tired me out. Cut the crap, let's go in and have a look." Wang Feng took a step forward, directly toward the void, and entered the newly opened small world. Because there was no light of the ancestral realm, the whole world seemed very gloomy. But it was not absolute darkness, the sky was filled with dark clouds. Needless to say, it really made Wang Feng feel a little bit like the underworld. There were countless void lives, floating in the underworld like ghosts, decorating this gloomy world. The laws of this small world has been changed by the ancestral realm, and is completely connected with the ancestral realm. Yen Mengyao looked around. But the energy won't change, and these void beings won't be able to leave. But how should the 9 paths reincarnation be built? Use the origin to evolve. Wang Feng said without hesitation. The energy in the black tide, let's call it the qi of samsara. Gather this energy in the 9 paths of samsara and establish a complete system. And the process of reincarnation is similar in many worlds. Regardless of whether it was the dark devil world or the god world, the method of reincarnation and body shape might be somewhat different. However, they were basically the same. They had to forget about their previous lives and transform their souls into pure soul energy before they could be reincarnated. In essence, it was to eliminate the karma brought about by the cause and effect of the universe, not to damage the system of reincarnation. However, the types were different in each world. This also included a complete reincarnation system. Thinking of this, Wang Feng's eyes flashed with the source of grand mist. He pointed his finger forward, and the source of the elements bloomed like dust. It transformed into an endless sea. "What is this?" Yen Mengyao exclaimed. "This is the first process of the underworld's reincarnation cycle, the Sea of Misery." Wang Feng said calmly. "Sea of Misery?" Yen Mengyao nodded as if she understood. Wang Feng then released the origin of Devour. It landed in the center of the boundless Sea of Misery and sank to the bottom of the sea. In an instant, the origin of Devour released a terrifying suction force and sucked the qi of samsara in the entire underworld into the Sea of Misery. It absorbed 3/4 of the qi of samsara before it slowly stopped. This small world also became slightly clearer. After crossing the Sea of Bitterness, recalling the past and cleansing the world, one will transform into a pure spirit body like these void life forms and enter the 9 paths of reincarnation. Wang Feng said. "What if you can't cross it?" Yen Mengyao was puzzled. "Or those dead souls don't want to enter the Sea of Misery?" Wang Feng glared at her. "Since you have entered the underworld, you don't have to choose. That's true. Maybe when the ancestral realm becomes lighter in the future, some powerful beings will want to disrupt the order of reincarnation and enter the reincarnation cycle without crossing the sea of misery. Thinking of this, Wang Feng pointed his finger again. The origin of judgment was like dust and light again, forming a lightning tribulation on the other side of the sea of misery. Inside, there was an endless amount of terrifying lightning and flames. Each of them seemed to be able to destroy one's soul. Reincarnation lightning tribulation. Wang Feng pointed at this area. Since you don't want to cross the sea of misery, then enter the reincarnation lightning tribulation. If there is a soul that can cross it and not be affected by the chi of samsara, then the 9 paths of samsara will let him reincarnate with his memories. I will bear this universal karma for him. That's not very good, is it? Yan Mengyao frowned slightly. There was great karma in the universe. The reincarnation cycle of many great worlds was extremely taboo for souls that didn't want to cleanse themselves of their karma and reincarnate. Once anything was tainted with universal karma, it would become difficult to understand and lead to an imminent disaster. Regarding this, Yan Mingyao's database had a very clear record of the Yama Lord's information. Moreover, this universal karma was often imposed on the entire world. As the heavenly Tao, Yan Mengyao would bear the brunt of this universal karma. As the master of the heavenly Tao, Wang Feng would be affected even more. Don't worry. This is just an exception. It doesn't represent all. This reincarnation lightning tribulation is almost impossible to cross, unless there is a cheat. Wang Feng smiled faintly. If there is such a person who can cheat, then I will bear his universal karma. This might not be a bad thing. Oh, I see. Yan Mengyao suddenly understood. Clearly, this reincarnation lightning tribulation was many times more difficult than the sea of misery. Souls that entered the netherworld were already incomparably weak. If there was really someone who could cross the reincarnation lightning tribulation, then the difficulty would be unimaginable. As for the difficulty, it would naturally be controlled by Wang Feng as the master. He would not let those self-confident and unruly souls pass through so easily. Wang Feng brought Yan Mengyao to the other side of the sea of misery. After crossing the sea of misery, one will enter the 9 paths of samsara. Wang Feng muttered. As the place of reincarnation, the 9 paths of samsara needs to first create the detailed 9 laws, which are the 9 types of life that symbolize the ancestral realm. This kind of law creation needs the assistance of the primordial origin. At the same time, it also needs an origin. What origin? The void origin, which is the 6th great origin that I inherited from the origin tribulation God King. Wang Feng slowly said. The origin tribulation God King's origin, the void origin. I have analyzed it with the primordial origin and found this origin to be very interesting. Chapter 1591. Yan Mingyao's body shook. In the chaos, Wang Feng's soul had recalled the past memories. As an eternal god slayer, although she had not fully awakened, she had stored these memories. In other words, she knew most of Wang Feng's experiences. She also knew that Wang Feng had inherited the 7 origins of origin tribulation, godly king. It was just that she did not understand. Nihility origin, this is an origin related to the soul. Wang Feng's face showed a few expressions of interest. Origin tribulation godly king is very interesting. At first, from the words of the godly kings of the god realm, I thought he was just a godly king. After coming to the god realm and learning some history, I found that his strength far exceeded that of a godly king, and had long surpassed the upper limit of the god realm. Later, when I came to the dark demon realm and learned some secrets, I found out. Origin tribulation godly king may be the same as the red-tailed celestial fox, a powerful universe-level life form that came to the god realm temporarily, and a universe-level life form that is about to fall. Moreover, He may just be making some arrangements in the God realm. That Di is his chess piece. Thinking of this, Wang Feng could not help but think of when he entered the Star Spirit Road and met Shi Yu's story about origin tribulation godly king. Listening to it now, what Shi Yu said was not completely true. She once said that she was origin tribulation godly king's past life. Because there were many restrictions in the Genesis divinity source, origin tribulation godly king chose to bet with Shi Yu in order to obtain the Genesis divinity source and change the God realm. He bet that he would disintegrate and become a true god of the God realm. This way, he would be recognized by the Genesis divinity source and Shi Yu. At that time, he was still somewhat convinced. After all, everything that Shi Yu had said could be traced back to the past. But at that time, Wang Feng did not know that there was such an existence as a universe-level life form. And after entering the dark demon realm, as his cultivation gradually deepened, and as he learned more and more, Wang Feng became more and more suspicious of the truth of Shi Yu's words. He knew that using the primordial origin to analyze it, he found that there were serious loopholes in it. A universe-level life form had already transcended all the known large world. They were the masters of these large worlds, the players who used the universe as a chessboard. The large worlds here referred to the God realm, dark demon realm, as well as those super-powerful worlds on the Saint Spirit list. How could an existence of this level make such a bet with the heavenly Tao of Shi Yu? Based on the analysis of the primordial chaos origin essence, there were only two possibilities. The first was that Shi Yu was lying, and the second was that God King origin tribulation wasn't trying to change the God world or obtain the Genesis divinity essence. Either that, or there was no bet at all, and everything was made up by Shi Yu. The reason why she was able to fabricate such a flawless story was because she was the heavenly Tao of the God realm. Everything in the Douluo continent was under his control, so Wang Feng couldn't find any obvious loopholes. The other possibility was that origin tribulation deity king wasn't some universal life form. He might just be a supreme being on the same level as Yama Master. It was just that the Yama Lords had yet to rise to prominence during the era of the origin tribulation God King. Only in this way could the historical war between the God realm and the dark devil realm coincide. However, the possibility of this happening was not high. Because of the void origin, the nihility origin source had only one use, and that was to change these nihility life forms. This was the conclusion that the primordial chaos source had come to after analyzing it. Currently, Wang Feng had not obtained the nihility source energy because he did not have enough divine rings. However, Wang Feng believed in the primordial chaos source's analysis. The nihility source energy could change nihility life forms. This was no longer an origin that the demon gods could comprehend. If those demon gods could comprehend this origin, the dark devil realm would have been able to resolve the black tide easily. This was a universe origin that only a universe-level life form could possess and create. At the same time, the origin tribulation deity king had 7 origins. This number of origins was a little too high. After knowing the function of the nihility source energy, Wang Feng was 90% sure that the origin tribulation deity king was most likely a universal life form. Everything he did in the God realm could be part of his plan. As for whether he was dead or not, Wang Feng couldn't be sure. Nihility source energy. Does that mean the origin tribulation deity king is? Yan Mengyao suddenly shuddered. He is a universal life form? To be able to change the origins of these nihility life forms. No wonder Master wants to use these nihility life forms to establish the reincarnation cycle of the ancestral realm and create the first batch of living beings in the ancestral realm. If there really is such an origin, then it is indeed possible. I only have 4 divine rings now. Only with 6 or even 7 divine rings can I awaken the nihility source energy and change these nihility life forms. To establish the 9 paths of reincarnation. Wang Feng pondered. Obtaining divine rings. For Master, the most important thing is not energy but the faith of living beings. Yan Mengyao pondered carefully. This should not be difficult. The wormholes in the Dark Devil realm lead to many small and medium worlds, but it will take a lot of time to collect them. The Saint Spirit list of all heavens is more troublesome. Most of them are great worlds, and there are many great beings who are as strong as Master. If you want to collect the faith of great worlds, I'm afraid only a universal life form can do it easily. Wang Feng nodded. He was aware of this. Why don't you collect it from the Dark Devil realm? There are billions of soul demons in the Dark Devil realm. If I can become a being stronger than Yama Lord, it is not impossible. Wang Feng thought for a while and said, This black tide is a good opportunity. 3 divine rings. Ordinary small and medium worlds will need more than 3. But if I can collect the faith of the Dark Devil realm, I can at least get more than 2 divine rings. Yan Mingyao's expression froze. That seems to be the case. The appearance of the black tide made all the living beings in the Dark Devil realm in a state of shock. Wang Feng's arrival in the ancestral realm and the absorption of the black tide land gathered by the 3 demon realms into the ancestral realm shocked even the demon god. If he appeared in the Dark Devil realm now, he might be able to become the faith of the Dark Devil realm. Master, what are you going to do? Yan Mengyao tilted her head and asked. First, establish the model of the 9 paths of reincarnation. Then, return to the Dark Devil realm and beat up the remaining demon gods of the demon realms. If there is still a black tide, I will deal with it together. Wang Feng pondered. By the way, other than the black tide, are there any other disasters in the Dark Devil realm? Hearing this, Yan Mingyao's heart skipped a beat. Master, what are you going to do? If you want to put on a show, you have to put on a full show. Let me see if I can deal with all the disasters one by one. I don't believe that the soul demons in the Dark Devil realm won't worship me. Wang Feng revealed a devilish smile. Chapter 1592. No. Yan Mingyao's head shook like a rattle drum. In Dark Demon Sector, the black tide is basically the biggest disaster. It covers the entire Dark Demon Sector. Other universe-level disasters have never happened in Dark Demon Sector. That won't do. Wang Feng snorted. If there are no conditions, create conditions. If there are no disasters, create. Yan Mengyao. Universe-level disasters. Yan Mengyao pondered. With Master's current strength, creating one is not easy. Normally, when it came to a universe-level disaster, it wasn't something that an ordinary great world could resist. It requires a universe-level life form of the same level to deal with it. Plus, those kinds of disasters often require harsh conditions. It's not something that can be created just because you want to. Plus, the key is that once it appears, it won't be easy to deal with it. Yan Mengyao looked serious. This black tide, Master, you were able to deal with it because of luck. Plus, the black tide did not spread to the entire demon sector. Otherwise, if it was absorbed into the ancestral realm, it would only turn the ancestral realm into a land of disaster. Can you guarantee that you can deal with other universe-level disasters the same way? Master, although your idea is good, it's not realistic to make it happen. Yan Mengyao was an eternal god slayer. With her knowledge, she naturally came to such a conclusion. I suggest you find some small worlds through the wormhole in Dark Demon Sector. If you don't want to use Dark Demon Sector's method of conquest, you can spread your power like those gods in God Sector. Slowly gather faith and form a god ring. But it will take a little longer. Finally, Yan Mengyao advised. Wang Feng pondered for a moment. Yan Mingyao's words made sense. But Wang Feng felt that it would be faster if he could gather faith from Dark Demon Sector. Can you trigger the black tides in the other Dark Devil realms? Wang Feng asked. Yes, I can. Yan Mengyao opened her mouth. This method was considered mild compared to Dark Demon Sector's method of conquering other world, so she didn't think it was sinister. But the success rate was not high. And if the black tide was not dealt with in time, Dark Demon Sector would be in danger. Or attract a true universe-level life form. Yan Mengyao was more inclined to the safe method of forming a god ring. The black tide is a universe-level disaster. Before it spreads, even the demonic gods can lure it out. Once it spread, for example, to the entire demon domain, unless one was a universe-level life form, there was no way to deal with it. By then, it would be impossible for you to use this method to deal with the black tide. Yan Mengyao said solemnly. And Wang Feng pondered for a moment, then used the Grand Mist source to analyze it. He wanted to see which method would allow him to condense a divine ring faster. After injecting all the information into the Grand Mist origin, the origin model began to operate at a crazy speed. Countless pieces of information were separated and combined before converging like a flood. That's right, Wang Feng suddenly thought of the Bloody Tomb City mode in Treasure Trove Heaven City. The Jiubao Pavilion had built the Jiubao Heavenly City, and with the help of the Yama Lord, they had built the city into something that resembled an infinite cycle of reincarnation. The ultimate goal of letting Treasure Trove Heavenly City nurture powerful Tomb Realm experts was naturally to conquer the great worlds on the Saint Spirit list. These Tomb Realm dwellers, who'd experienced countless worlds, possessed incredible strength. Even if they were only demon lords, they could still contend with ordinary demon gods. At the same time, they were extremely sensitive to danger, and it was very difficult for them to die. For so many years, Treasure Trove Heavenly City only had a dozen of such peak Tomb Realm experts. For example, the creation of Yan Mengyao's Eternal God Slayer was participated in by several Tomb Realm experts. However, they didn't know about the existence of the Eternal God Slayer. They only knew about the mission. If I use these Tomb Realm experts, Wang Feng muttered. At this time, Yan Mengyao spoke again. Actually, Master, even if you can really solve these universal disasters, it's very difficult to gain the faith of the Dark Demon Realm. Think about the Yama Lord, she lived for an era and created countless history. She's the highest demon god in the hearts of countless soul demons in the Dark Demon Realm. She even created the Eternal God Slayer, a heaven-defying object that could almost break the barrier of strength in the Dark Demon Realm. But even so, for the Dark Demon Realm, you can only gain the faith of a small number of soul demons, just like Di. It's very difficult for the Dark Demon Realm to gain their faith just by solving the disasters. It's only possible for a small number of them. Moreover, if you act as a universal life form, then for them, only by solving the barrier of strength in the Dark Demon Realm, that is, how to break through the Demon God Realm and allow more soul demons to become demon gods, can you truly gain their faith. Otherwise, with the soul demons in the Dark Demon Realm, they might even suspect that you're a universal life form. After all, strength is the only pursuit of all life forms in the Dark Demon Realm, and even the countless great worlds in the universe. This is also why only universal life forms can control a great world. These great beings in the universe have the true means to reach the top. Therefore, generally, only universal life forms can gain the faith of a great world. Yan Mengyao's words were very similar to the result of the analysis of the primordial origin. Wang Feng nodded slightly. He didn't refute this point. Yama Lord had been in the Dark Demon Realm for so long and had done so many great deeds, but he still hadn't gained the faith of the Dark Demon Realm. If he could do it so easily, he'd be damned. In that case, at this time, as the model of the primordial origin gradually stopped, the final conclusion slowly flowed into Wang Feng's mind. This method might work, Wang Feng muttered. What method? Dark Demon Realm, North T Demon Domain, Treasure Trove Sky City. When Qi Lingyan returned to the space of the gods in Treasure Trove Sky City, her expression was somewhat gloomy. My lord, what's the situation? Oh my God, did you see the great world that appeared in the sky just now? Seeing Qi Lingyan return, Yu Xiaoxiao couldn't help but immediately chatter. That's a direct descent into a great world. This is definitely not something a demon god can do. What's going on? Has the black tide disappeared? Also, why are you the only one who came back? Where is he? Did he run away with the eternal god slayer? Qi Lingyan sighed. At this time, an old demon figure appeared in the void and looked at her quietly. It was the demon god of North T Demon Domain, Decay Demon God. Chapter 1593. The situation is not good? Decay Demon God was injured and did not go to the black tide with Qi Lingyan. However, he seemed to have guessed something and looked at Qi Lingyan with a serious expression. Qi Lingyan had no choice but to tell him what she saw and heard. That ancestor demon is here? No wonder, such a great world that encompasses the entire dark devil world would send a warning to collect the black tide, to use both the carrot and the stick. Only that ancestor devil would have such means. The demonic god of decay sighed. However, did he also connect to the black tide and get sucked in? Yes, the situation is not good. Qi Lingyan shook her head. It will be difficult for him to come back. What a pity for Eternal God Killer. Hearing this, the Yu siblings fell silent. Eternal God Killer was Yama Master's blood, sweat, and tears. It was extremely important to Dark Demon Sector. It was not easy to find someone who could pass the test of Eternal Temple. Not necessarily. That human. I have a feeling that he will be fine. Decay Demon God smiled. Those who can pass the test of chaos in Eternal Temple will not die so easily. You may not know this, but the test of chaos in Eternal Temple was not created by Yama Master. It was modified by Yama Master by learning from other great worlds. Do you know which of the top 10 worlds on the Saint Spirit list have given birth to a universe-level life form? I think it is the third place, Douluo Sector, Qi Lingyan replied, slightly taken aback. That's right. Douluo Sector has given birth to universe-level life forms before. Do you know how they were born? It was through passing a test of chaos like this. In fact, Douluo Sector still has this test of chaos to test if one has the potential to become a universe-level life form. Decay Demon God smiled. In other words, to be able to pass this test of chaos, in a sense, he has the potential to become a universe-level life form. When Yama Master and I discussed this, I did not believe it. However, after Eternal God Killer was completed and she set up the test of chaos, she found that she could not pass it. Then I believed it. A human who has the potential to become a universe-level life form will not die so easily. Qi Lingyan gasped when she heard the demonic god of decay's words. She did not expect the test of chaos in Eternal Temple to have such a background. However, just as she was thinking, "My lord, look!" Yu Xiaoxiao suddenly pointed to the sky outside of God's space. Another major world has descended. Yu Xiaoxiao felt a terrifying pressure descend from the heavens. The pressure was so unbearable that she only wanted to kneel on the ground. And this time, it was even more terrifying than before. Again? Qi Lingyan was stunned. She thought that the ancestor demon should be dealing with the black tide at this moment. She did not expect him to come again. What was going on? No, this is not the great world we saw before. Yuren Xian's face changed as he said in a deep voice. The aged demonic god stared at the sky. Demonic light flickered in his eyes. Then, he shuddered. It is indeed not the great world we saw before. Qi Lingyan looked up at the sky. He also realized that something was wrong. 2. Another universe-level life form? This. Qi Lingyan was dumbfounded. What is going on? She was not the only one. Almost all the life forms in Dark Demon Sector were dumbfounded. Clear Sky Palace. Bibidon looked at the sky. He thought it was Wang Feng's doing again. However, after taking a closer look, he realized that this was not the world that Wang Feng was in. This great world was clearly even more powerful. Furthermore, Bibi Dong also knew that Wang Wu was not that ancestor demon at all. He got the Eternal God Slaying Set. That Eternal God Slaying Set was connected to the chaos by Yen Zhu. He should have gotten a new great world. But who does this great world belong to? Wait. Bibidan's pupils shrank. Could it be that the ancestor demon had really come? Bibi Dong was so shocked that his scalp went numb. Wang Wu, the fake, had he really attracted the real one? How many years had the first demon been here? Bibidon felt a chill. If that was the case, who is in charge of Dark Demon Sector now? A voice that seemed to come from ancient times echoed in the soul of every life form in Dark Demon Sector. As if their souls were shocked, the whole world seemed to be dead silent. The universe-level life form had surpassed the level of the origin demon god. Even if these soul demons had transcended the mortal world, they could not resist the supreme existence of the universe. Only the demon god was slightly better. With a thought, the soul of every life form in Dark Demon Sector could hear it. The voice from the soul seemed to have transcended time and space. It was not restricted by the rules of any world. Ha! Are there any soul demons who know me? Along with the voice, billions of life forms were shocked. Almost in an instant, the trembling of their souls and the thoughts in their hearts were exposed. I didn't expect that after so many years, there would only be a dozen or so people who know my name in their souls. Well, I have never returned to this world. His slightly cold voice seemed to contain endless vicissitudes of life. In the next moment, the soul voice that intimidated all life forms sounded again. I am Dark Demon Sector's ancient ancestor demon, Mo Tiance. I came to Dark Demon Sector today because I learned that there is a demon god in Dark Demon Sector who has obtained a wisp of innate demonic energy that I left behind. This is a great opportunity that I left behind. Quickly let the demon god who obtained the demonic energy show himself. Boom! In an instant, countless life forms trembled. Mo Tiance. Not many soul demons knew this name now. Only the demon gods knew about it and were still alive. However, this name was a legend in ancient times. It was immortal, a supreme existence that surpassed Yama Lord. Bibi Dong was extremely shocked, but he was also extremely worried. Disregarding everything else, the dark devil world was united by this first devil. Every deed he had done was unreachable by countless soul demons. He was even greater and more terrifying than Yama Lord. However, what Bibidon did not expect was that the wisp of demonic energy was a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity that he left behind. This meant that demon god Huang Hai did not offend this ancient ancestor demon. He might even be recognized by Mo Tiance because of this. Then wouldn't Wang Wu be in danger? Bibi Dong's mind flashed. Her soul did not dare to linger for too long. Even so, with how terrifying this ancient ancestor demon was, this kind of thing could not be hidden. She felt a great sense of danger. End of chapter. Chapter 1594. At this moment, the entire Dark Demon Sector was shocked. Ancestor demon, Mo Tiance. If that's the case, who was that universe-level being that just descended? The same thought came to the minds of countless soul demons and many demon god. This self-proclaimed ancestor demon was even more terrifying than the one that just appeared. Mo Tiance. Old man Tsong-Nyang, is it really him? Far away in northern T-Demon Sector, Qi Lingyan asked in shock. Then who was that universe-level being just now? Tsong-Nyang stared blankly at the sky. He couldn't see the ancestor demon's shadow, but the voice in his soul told him that it was Mo Tiance. He was a great being who left behind countless words in the history of Dark Demon Sector. However, after leaving the Dark Demon Realm, he never returned. After becoming a universe-level being, He transcended the great worlds and only played in the universe. He could see more great worlds. Moreover, the two eras in Dark Demon Sector might seem like hundreds of thousands of years to him, but in the universe, time was just a drop in the ocean. It passed in an instant. For universe-level beings, it was just a matter of a wave of the hand. It was normal that he couldn't notice Dark Demon Sector. I don't know. Song-Nyo Demon God's eyes were filled with hope as he looked at the sky. That might have been another universe-level lifeform, but their methods are very similar. Even the demon god would have a hard time understanding the current situation. The ancestor demon seemed to have a clear goal. He just wanted to find the desolate ocean demon god who had obtained the demon chi. But why did he still use the great world as a deterrent? I see. Suddenly, the vast voice came from above the 9 heavens. He seemed to understand the cause and effect. A strong grayish-black light shot down from the clouds and landed in the clear sky palace of the central demon sector. Demon gods and above, come and see me quickly. At the same time, a voice rang in the minds of countless soul demons. Clear sky palace. When the light landed, countless energy particles shook the void and gathered to form a mysterious demon shadow. He was wrapped in a black shadow. From afar, one could see a figure. Up close, it was like a black hole that could make one's gaze stay on the demon shadow. You are the current overseer of the dark devil world? An ancient voice that sounded like the echoes of an abyss came from the black shadow. Not bad for the dark devil world to produce such a seedling, it's really not bad. Although the path of God slaying has already changed the original path of the dark devil world, to be able to do this in less than 10,000 years of age, it is possible for him to surpass the shackles of the dark devil world in the future. Bibidon was scared witless, but his face was as calm as a lake. You don't have to pretend to be so calm. Even if your Yama King was here, he wouldn't be able to remain calm after seeing me. Moreover, as far as I'm concerned, even this strand of consciousness is able to easily detect the expressions and emotions in your heart. Bibidon and the other demon masters glanced at each other. Patter. With no flower demon master as the leader, the many demon masters all knelt on the ground, their bodies trembling and not daring to speak. Bibidon thought for a moment and half knelt down as well. After all, he was a soul demon from the dark demon realm and an ancient historical soul demon. Even Yama Lord was full of admiration for him. Using ancient etiquette could express a certain degree of friendliness. Otherwise, she didn't know if this forefather demon would attack them. After all, it didn't seem to take much effort to destroy them. The most important thing was, did you come here just for that strand of demonic chi? Bibidon lowered his voice and asked directly. Just like what the other party said, as long as he wanted to, his expression and emotions could be easily detected. Therefore, he directly asked the question in his heart. Of course. However, it seems that this demonic god Huang Hai, who obtained the demonic chi, has disappeared? Emotian's voice didn't fluctuate at all. No flower demon master glanced at Bibidon and wanted to tell him what happened earlier. Bibidon gave no flower demon master a look, indicating that he would speak personally. It's like this. This was a matter of great importance, and it might even be related to Wang Wu's life. Thus, he explained the matter in full detail. Of course, Bibidon embellished the story of the demonic god Huang Hai. That strand of demonic chi is hidden at the bottom of the Tianming River. You left it behind back then. However, there are countless ghost devils in the Tianming River, and the Tianming River's water also contains immense power of wish. Back then, with you suppressing the Tianming River, the ghost devils in the Tianming River didn't disturb the world. However, after you left the Tianming River, our dark devil world didn't have such a great existence like you. There are billions of ghost devils in the Tianming River. When I left back then, I warned them not to disturb the order of the dark devil world. However, ghost devils are all unruly, and it's normal for there to be disturbances. Moreover, I asked them to suppress that strand of demonic chi at the bottom of the Tianming River, waiting for a soul devil to obtain it. Emotiance didn't doubt Bibidan's words at all. But how terrifying is the Tianming River? Bibidan shook his head helplessly and said, since the Middle Ages, the greatest king of hell could only cross the Tianming River, but he couldn't sink to the bottom of the river. It's impossible for him to obtain the demonic chi. Ha ha! How can the opportunity one left behind be obtained so easily? Emotiance seemed to be rather proud of this point. Of course. For so many years, the Tianming River had been an insurmountable hurdle for the dark devil world. The 9 great demon gods all knew that there was a great opportunity inside, and there was demonic chi left behind by the ancestor devil. It was demonic chi that could break through the shackles. However, not a single soul devil could sink to the bottom of the Tianming River and return safely. The demon gods were no exception. Speaking of which, I'm rather curious. How did this demon god of desolate sea obtain this strand of demonic chi? Emotiance's tone was filled with doubt. He probably didn't believe that the demonic chi he left behind could be obtained. The conditions were so harsh. Unless there was someone of the same level, it was impossible to obtain the demonic chi in the Tianming River. Hearing this, all the demon masters present were sweating in their hearts. It turned out that this big shot also felt that it was impossible for a soul devil to obtain the demonic chi in the dark devil world. Then why did you stay? However, Bibidan smiled faintly and said, it's a long story. It's a long story. A few days ago, a human expert came to the dark demon realm. His name is Wang Feng. He used the name of the Dai Devil God to enter our dark demon realm and repeatedly did earth-shattering things. A human expert? Tell me properly. Although I can pry into your souls and know everything, listening to stories is also my interest. Emotiance's interest was piqued. This human expert is Wang Feng. He entered the wormhole to slay a demon god with the strength of less than 4 saint demon rings. Then, he accidentally entered the ruins left behind by the universe-level life form of the dark devil world and obtained a universe-level saint artifact. Bibidan knew that he couldn't lie at this moment. Chapter 1595. Oh! Emotiance was stunned. Back then, there was indeed a universe-powerful race in Dark Devil Domain that encountered Dark Devil Domain, but a universe-level saint weapon, even a universe-level life form wouldn't normally bestow it. Continue. Later on, he traveled to Heaven Styx River and was entangled by it. When he was in dire straits, at this point Bibidan paused. Then? Emotiance asked. Then, he used the universe-level saint weapon and took your Heaven Styx River. The black figure paused momentarily. I see. After a while, Emotiance said slowly, if that's the case, it makes sense to be able to obtain that strand of demonic aura. However, why isn't this strand of demonic aura on this human great being? At this point, Bibidan had achieved her goal. She needed to change the impression in this ancestor demon's mind. She needed to change the person who obtained the strand of demonic aura from desolate ocean demon god to Wang Feng. This way, this ancestor demon would assume that Wang Feng was the true owner of the strand of demonic aura and that he, the ancestor demon, was fated with Wang Feng. At the same time, Wang Feng would have an additional backer. The universe-level life form that bestowed the saint weapon. Bibidan didn't know what exactly happened to Wang Feng in Red Hill Village in Azure Sun Demon region. Her knowledge of Wang Feng's whereabouts was limited to after he left Sky Demon Mountain Range. The Red Hill Village deep in Sky Demon Mountain Range was where the universe-level life form stayed. It was very mysterious. It was one of the few dangerous places in Dark Devil Domain. It was almost at the same level as Heaven Styx River. However, it wasn't well known, because there were too many legends and stories about Heaven Styx River. Hence, Bibidon could only guess that Wang Feng obtained a great opportunity and obtained the universe-level saint weapon in the eye, which allowed him to take the Heaven Styx River. This was what she deduced when she was observing the battle in Soul Demon's sacred city as a Heaven Demon Master. She didn't lie at all. Hearing Mo Tian's question, Bibi Dong explained, "That's right. After Heaven Styx River disappeared, this human great being used too much of his energy to wield the saint weapon. In addition, Heaven Styx River was left behind by you. Although there was a saint weapon to take it, it was extremely difficult to control it. Coincidentally, after the Tianming River disappeared, the 3 demon gods, who had been coveting the demon chi for a long time, attacked and took over the Tianming River. They secretly took over the Tianming River and stole the strand of demon chi that should have belonged to this human expert, Wang Feng." Once he said that, everything became clear. One was demon god Huang Hai. Seeing that the first demon was silent, Bibi Dong guessed that he was weighing the pros and cons. Bibi Dong continued, "The alliance of the 3 demon gods originally wanted to divide this wisp of demonic chi. Demon God then, Demon Sacred City in the Day Heaven Sky Demon Sacred City, Soul Demon Sacred City. And the Soul Demon City. And this human expert had some ties with demon goddess Qingluo. When he saw this, he attacked in anger. He used the Heaven Styx River to drown the 3 demon fleets in Soul Demon Sacred City. And defeated the 3 demon gods. However, demon god Huang Hai was cunning. At the critical moment, he backstabbed 2 of his demon god allies and escaped with the demonic aura." Bibidon finished and stared at Mo Tian's. The 3 demon gods started a war to disrupt the order of the dark demon world. Especially demon god Huang Hai. In order to disrupt our Clear Sky Palace's pursuit, he created the Black Tide in an attempt to bring chaos to the entire dark demon world. No flower demon master felt that his supremacy was right. It was indeed the truth. "I see," Mo Tian said indifferently. "I descended here and suppressed this place with a great world because I sensed the black tide in the dark demon world. To the dark demon world, a calamity like the black tide is impossible to resolve. So it was created by demon god Huang Hai." "So that was his motive? Then, wouldn't it be even better?" Bibidon smiled faintly. Ignoring his temperament, since he was here to resolve the black tide, it meant that he had feelings for the dark demon world. After all, this was the place where he was born. It was also the place where he reached the peak. VP that demon god Huang Hai created the black tide. How could this ancestor demon have a good impression of him? It was directly reduced to 0. In addition, Mo Tian's had portrayed demon god Huang Hai as a thief who stole opportunities. This ancestor demon definitely wouldn't let demon god Huang Hai off. However, after I descended, I realized that the black tide was gone. "What happened?" Mo Tian's asked. Bibidon's heart skipped a beat. For the sake of her man, she had thought it through thoroughly. She continued. "Back then, I was also in the black tide. To be honest, there was also a universe-level life form that descended to the great world and took the black tide." Mo Tian's tone changed slightly. "Not only that, but we who were in the black tide were also taken into his great world." "Who is this universe-level life form?" Mo Tian's interest was gradually piqued. Bibidon muttered. She definitely couldn't say Wang Wu directly. Wang Wu owned such a powerful great world, and was related to the eternal god Slayer. Once Mo Tian's knew about it, she couldn't guarantee that Mo Tian's wouldn't take action against Wang Feng. Bibidon seemed to have thought of something and was about to speak. Mo Tian said excitedly, Wait, let me guess. No soul demon in the dark demon world knows about it. Even the few of you don't know much about it. I think this human powerhouse must have participated in the black tide?" Bibidon's heart skipped a beat. Could Mo Tian's know about this too? That's impossible, right? Emotiance continued confidently, there's no need to think further. It must be the universe-level life form behind this human powerhouse. Since he bestowed a sacred artifact, he must have placed great importance on it. He was in danger from the black tide. As a universe-level life form, he wouldn't leave anyone in the lurch. This universe-level life form doesn't have any feelings for the dark demon world. Therefore, he simply took away the land of the demon domain that was engulfed by the black tide and absorbed it into his great world. Bibidon was speechless. You're absolutely right, Bibidon immediately replied. He then said with admiration, You're absolutely right. You've hit the nail on the head with all the excuses I wanted to find. No Flower Demon Master and the other Demon Masters thought for a while, and suddenly realized something. It turned out that the universe-level life form they met in that great world was the one who bestowed Wang Feng the sacred artifact. No wonder, no wonder. We were wrong back then. Fortunately, that universe-level life form didn't hold it against us and only sent us out. No Flower Demon Master was drenched in cold sweat. Interesting. Emotiance simply said 3 words. Until now, we haven't found that desolate ocean demon god yet. We've let you down for not being able to capture him. Bibidon heaved a sigh of relief. However, Emotiance's next sentence made Bibidon's heart tremble. Capture? Why do we have to capture him? Emotiance's tone changed abruptly with an immense pressure. He's the fated one who obtained the demonic aura I left behind. Hearing this, Bibidon was stunned. The other demon masters were stunned too. Ancestor demon, this desolate ocean demon god is. No Flower Demon Master said with a trembling voice. He wanted to say that desolate ocean demon god had violated so many rules of the dark demon world and had committed a heinous crime. This was the dark demon world you left behind after all. How could he be the fated one? Demonic aura, since he could obtain the demonic aura, it means that he's truly the fated one. Emotiance's tone was indifferent. No matter what method is used, whether it's despicable or cunning, it doesn't matter to me. Desolate ocean demon god used all sorts of methods just to obtain the demonic aura. This is the opportunity he inherited from me. I admire him a lot. Bibidon felt a chill in his heart. This ancestor demon didn't play by the rules. Chapter 1596. For a moment, Bibidon didn't know where to start. The structure of a universe-level life form was completely beyond her imagination. Perhaps, the battle in Dark Devil Domain was like child's play to this ancestor demon. It wasn't even worth mentioning. It didn't matter who won or lost. It was fine as long as Dark Devil Domain was still around. As for what methods were used and how despicable, that was another matter altogether. What should she do? Bibidon fell into deep thought. As for that human great being Wang Feng, he took the Heaven Styx river that I left behind. It was merely a wedding dress for someone else. He didn't get that wisp of demonic aura, but he got another universe-level life form's saint weapon. That was his opportunity. However, he took the Heaven Styx river. Emotiance continued slowly. I originally wanted to say that since the demonic aura was already obtained, there was no point in keeping the Heaven Styx river. I planned to take it away. Where is this human great being now? Bibidon was shocked. What did this mean? Take the Heaven Styx river. But the Heaven Styx river was with Wang Wu's character. Would he spit out something that he had already taken? Bibidon said without any change in expression. He should still be in that huge world. He shouldn't be back anytime soon. Emotiance didn't answer. Bibidon said that to instill some fear in Emotiance's heart. After all, they were both universe-level life forms. He shouldn't do anything rash as long as he didn't expose himself. Just as she was thinking, Emotiance suddenly looked at Bibidon. You're lying. Although your story is flawless and even I can't find any loopholes. lying in front of a universe-level life form is meaningless. Bibidon was stunned. Impossible. She wasn't lying. To be precise, she was only telling what she knew from another angle. However, why did Emotian say that? Just as she was thinking, he isn't in that huge world right now. Emotian glanced at Bibidon before looking outside. It seems like you don't know about this either. Is that so? Bibidon forced a smile. His heart was greatly shaken. Why did he return to the Dark Devil world at this time? That great world was even vaster than the Dark Devil world. Couldn't he just stay in his own world and slowly develop? Speaking of which, I'm very curious. Who is the universe-level life form behind him? Emotian's voice had a rare hint of laughter. It was a very strange smile. At the same time, a demonic figure walked out of the shadows in front of them. It was a handsome soul demon with a rare pale golden skin. Come, follow me to meet this human expert. Emotian, who revealed himself, glanced at Bibidon and the others indifferently before waving his hand. In an instant, space changed and Bibidon disappeared. Meanwhile, North T Demon Region. Treasure Trove Heaven City, Realm of the Gods. Wang Feng looked at the sky of the Dark Devil world. Having just come out of the ancestral realm, he was still a little dazed. What was going on? Yen Mengyao, I remember that I took back the ancestral realm, right? What's going on with the real world in the sky? Wu Jiwen asked. Wang Fengxin had an ominous premonition. He had found a good solution, so he planned to return to the Dark Devil world to look for Qilingyan. Using those tomb realm beings, he might be able to quickly collect the faith of the world. However, as soon as he returned, something seemed to be wrong. Master, the situation might be very bad. Yen Mingyao's slightly trembling voice was heard. A real universe-level life form has appeared. It's 100% real. I've guessed it. But who is it? Wang Feng asked. According to the information from the many god-slaying terminals that I've linked to, it should be that former demon. Yen Mingyao replied. Wang Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. Damn. It's for real? Are you kidding me? However, it seemed to be true. Since this former demon left behind the demonic energy, it was obvious that he had left behind some karma. Now that demon god Huang Hai had obtained this karma, it was reasonable for this big shot to return to the Dark Devil world. However, he did not expect it to be at this time. In an instant, Wang Feng's mind was filled with thoughts. He figured out the reason, but what other reason did this big shot have for returning to the Dark Devil world? That demon god Huang Hai had used despicable means to obtain the demonic energy and created the black tide to disturb the Dark Devil world. That former demon shouldn't have acknowledged demon god Huang Hai, right? I don't know if he's here to retrieve the demonic energy or to take away demon god Huang Hai. Wang Fengxin pondered. Speaking of which, it was because he had taken away the Heaven Styx River that the demonic energy was obtained by demon god Huang Hai. Unfortunately, Wang Feng did not know about the Heaven Styx River back then, nor did he know that there was such a heaven-defying demonic karma hidden under the Heaven Styx River. Otherwise, that demonic energy would be in his hands now. The situation was no longer like that. I wonder which side this former demon is on? If he acknowledges demon god Huang Hai, then I'll be in trouble. After all, I took away the Heaven Styx River, and I even used his name in the Soul Demon Sacred City. Thinking of this, Wang Feng suddenly felt a wave of pressure. At this moment, he had arrived inside the realm of the god. Since he's come to the Dark Demon realm, he should go to the Clear Sky Palace to get information. Wang Feng's heart skipped a beat as he pondered. You're really not dead? At this moment, Qi Lingyan's voice suddenly sounded. In the distance, Qi Lingyan and the others looked at Wang Feng in shock. Of course I'm not dead. Wang Feng quickly walked over and pointed to the sky. What's going on? Oh, this. Qi Lingyan thought for a moment, and a rare look of excitement and surprise appeared on her face. She replied, "It's that former demon Emotiance who has arrived. Demon god Huang Hai must have obtained the demonic energy from the bottom of the Heaven Styx River. He seems to have come here to look for demon god Huang Hai. When he arrived, all life in the dark demon realm could hear his voice transmission. Unfortunately, demon god Huang Hai has disappeared. But logically speaking, if demon god Huang Hai was in the dark demon realm, he should have heard this and come out long ago. But there's still no news. Just now, there was a beam of light falling from the sky toward the Clear Sky Palace. This former demon must have gone to the Clear Sky Palace to ask for specific information." Realization dawned on Wang Feng. "I see. Since he's looking for demon god Huang Hai, then it has nothing to do with me." Wang Feng thought that the only thing related to him was the Heaven Styx River. As for the Heaven Styx River, if the former demon wanted it, Wang Feng could just return it to him. After all, the Heaven Styx River wasn't something he needed now. It was better if he had it, but it didn't matter if he didn't. The ancestral realm was the most important. Chapter 1597. You. Qi Lingyan looked at Wang Feng. She had many questions. For example, what happened in the Black Tide? Who was the universe-level being that came to a great world? What does it have to do with you? How did you come back? Let's talk about this later. Wang Feng pondered. By the way, can I borrow the dozen Tomb Realm beings from Treasure Trove Sky City? Huh. Qi Lingyan frowned. Tomb Realm beings? They exist to deal with the great worlds on the Saint Spirit list. This is Yen Lord's plan. Every one of them is important and the information is top secret. Only Yen Lord knows all the information. I can't lend it to you. Not even me. Wang Feng was stunned. Although you have obtained the Eternal God Slayer left by Yen Lord, I'm sorry, but I can't. Qi Lingyan shook her head. Like Night Demon Emperor and Demon Emperor Army, they are only under Yen Lord's command. We have a certain right to know, but we can't mobilize them. Most of them are not in Dark Demon Realm. Only 1 or 2 are here. The rest are carrying out missions in other worlds. If you want to know, perhaps you have to go to the Heavenly Demon Emperor of Clear Sky Palace. Wang Feng was speechless. If he had known, he wouldn't have let Bibidon leave the ancestral realm. He should have stayed with a tough attitude. That ancestral demon is also in Clear Sky Palace. I can go and meet him. Wang Feng thought for a moment. Subconsciously, he thought this ancestral demon should belong to Dark Demon Realm. He shouldn't attack him, and should have good intentions toward Dark Demon Realm. But he was still wary. Wang Feng was about to move. At this moment, suddenly the space shook and the pressure suddenly increased. Light and shadow flowed in the void, and several demonic shadows appeared. Wang Feng felt a pressure that he had never felt before. No, to be precise, he had an impression of this pressure. The Crimson Deity Sky Fox he met in Crimson Hill in Qingyang Demon Realm had a similar pressure. It was a supreme and terrifying pressure that transcended everything. It was even more terrifying than the Crimson Deity Sky Fox. Wang Feng did not even need to think to know that the ancestor demon was here. Not only did he come, but he also brought Bibidon and the soul demons of Clear Sky Palace with him. He must be looking for me. Wang Fengxin's heart skipped a beat. Absolutely. Wang Feng looked at the demonic figure that was shining with golden light. It was an ancient soul demon. The first devil, Emotiance. Greetings, first devil. Qi Lingyan immediately knelt down and paid her respects. Facing this legendary supreme being, a universe-level boss that had long entered the game of the universe. To put it bluntly, all the soul demons in Dark Demon Realm were his descendants. Because if he hadn't unified the 9 regions of the Dark Devil Realm, they wouldn't have been born. Emotiance waved his hand and didn't mind. His gaze focused on Wang Feng as he burst out laughing. And it's a human. Unbelievable, there are countless branches of the human race in the universe, but none of them can become a universe-level life form. The great world is the end and limit of the human race. It has been so for countless years. I never thought that I would be able to meet a human who could stir up a storm in my dark devil world. You are Wang Wu, right? Wang Feng looked at Emotiance and remained silent. Eventually, he nodded. What did he mean by that? You have taken my heavenly Styx river. It doesn't belong to you. Hand it over. Emotiance said indifferently. Bibidon was slightly shocked. She had a feeling that this first devil wasn't just after the heavenly Styx river. He probably had other motives. The heavenly Styx river was originally left behind by you, first devil, Wang Feng said calmly. It should be returned to its rightful owner. Bibidon cast a glance at him. You will lower your head. That's true. What is this guy up to? Wang Feng thought for a while and decided to test the waters. If the other party wanted the heavenly Styx river, he had to give it to him. Moreover, this was within his expectations. But the heavenly Styx river is in the God-forbidden space. Releasing the heavenly Styx river means exposing the God-forbidden space. This is an item given by the Crimson Divine Sky Fox. Wang Fengxin's heart skipped a beat. He had too many secrets on him. Some secrets were important. The God-forbidden space was still fine. With this first devil status, he might not covet anything. But some secrets might not be the same. Wang Feng only hoped that the Crimson Divine Sky Fox, who was also a universe-level life form, could make this first devil wary. It couldn't be helped. This first devil's arrival had disrupted all of Wang Feng's plans. He didn't have a better idea at the moment. Moreover, the first devil had brought Bibidon with him. Once there was an accident, it didn't matter if this body of his was gone. It was fine as long as his main body was still around. But if something happened to Bibidon, she wouldn't have another body. Thinking of this, Wang Feng's eyebrows moved slightly as he released the God-forbidden space. The prismatic transparent guard emitted a magnificent beauty of laws. God-forbidden space. Emotiance's eyes lit up as he recognized it immediately. So it's the Crimson Divine Sky Fox. Only the Crimson Divine Sky Fox race has this item. You must be using this item to collect the heavenly Styx river, right? He revealed a smile. Wang Feng's heart skipped a beat when he saw the smile. He probably realized something. It's really good stuff. Emotiance sighed. He looked at Wang Feng and said slowly, Don't worry. I won't covet this item. You just need to hand over the heavenly Styx river. Wang Feng released the heavenly Styx river. Torrential river water flowed out from the God-forbidden space. Emotiance waved his sleeves lightly and collected the torrential heavenly Styx river water into his sleeve. Suddenly, Wang Feng had an illusion. The golden light on Emotiance's body became more crystalline and translucent, and his aura became stronger. However, Wang Feng didn't know what was going on with a universe-level life form. A moment later, Emotiance stood on the spot and regained his calmness like a gentle breeze. Wang Fengxin had a bad premonition. Why wasn't he leaving? Since he had already collected the heavenly Styx river, he should go look for demon god Huang Hai. Why was he still staying here? By the way, I heard from her that you went to the great world of the Crimson Divine Sky Fox? Emotiance retracted his smile. Speaking of which, the Crimson Divine Sky Fox had stayed in the Dark Demon domain for a period of time. That was a very long time ago. Now that I've returned, why don't you bring me to that great world? I also want to catch up with this Crimson Divine Sky Fox. Upon hearing that, Wang Feng knew that Emotiance had already found out something. I'm sorry. The Crimson Divine Sky Fox has already left. Wang Feng shook his head lightly. That's a pity. Emotiance shook his head and looked at Wang Feng. Since she has already left, why don't you bring me to your great world to have a look? I'm also very curious. Speaking of which, Emotiance paused. How did you collect the black tide into your great world? I don't have a great world. Even if I did, I wouldn't be able to control it. You must be joking. Wang Feng answered. This demon ancestor wasn't here to collect his heavenly Styx river. He must have set his eyes on the ancestral realm. No, you do. Emo Tiance laughed heartily. Humans love to act smart the most. This kind of behavior is actually laughable. Let me tell you. Although I haven't returned to the Dark Demon world, I've always given the Dark Demon world many favors and opportunities. That wisp of demonic aura is just one of them. The Yama Lord of the Dark Demon world had contacted me before. However, I didn't reply to her. Later on, I remembered and gave her a seed of the chaotic world. Although I don't know what she did with the deicide, but you have the scent of the seed of the chaotic world. I don't know how you got it, but you got something that doesn't belong to you. This great world isn't something a human like you can control. Towards the end, Emo Tiance's tone became a little strange. Originally, I returned to look for the fated person who got the demonic aura. I didn't expect to see a human who got the seed of the chaotic world. Wang Fengxin's heart sank. He didn't expect the chaotic world in the Eternal Sacred Hall to have such a history. Of course, it could also be fake. But at this moment, it didn't matter if it was real or fake. Hand it over. Emo Tiance said slowly. I'll let you go in this heavenly demon supremacy. He must be on the same side as you. Just now in the clear sky palace, he even lied to me. If he dared to lie to me during normal times, he would have turned into cosmic dust. But Bibidan's expression didn't change, but he sighed in his heart. Sure enough, a life form at the universe level wasn't something a demon god could predict. Wang Feng's pupils contracted slightly. Handing over the ancestral realm meant that he had to hand over the eternal deicide as well, but at this moment, Wang Feng no longer trusted this demon ancestor. Even if he really handed it over, Wang Feng was sure that this demon ancestor wouldn't let him go. This was a hopeless situation. Chapter 1598. What should I do? The change in the situation was beyond his imagination. The strength of a universal-level life form was also beyond my imagination. Hand over the ancestral realm? That wouldn't do. Tian Mingi had handed it over because it wasn't his to begin with. However, he had obtained the ancestral realm and the eternal god Slayer with his own abilities. Hand it over? The ancestor demon had said that he had given it to him back then. Wang Feng didn't really believe it. Would he hand it over? However, if he didn't hand it over now, it would mean facing the ancestor demon head-on. At the same time, it would also involve Bibidan. In the distance, Bibidan stared at Wang Feng fixedly. She already knew what Wang Feng was thinking with that moment of hesitation. I can give you the ancestral realm, Wang Feng said slowly. Hearing this, Bibidan was slightly stunned. Not bad, Emo Tiance praised. You can take things and let them go. That chaos world isn't something you can control now. It will only be a burden to you if you have it. Then hand it over. Wang Feng didn't move. Master, are you really going to hand me over? Boo-hoo. Don't. Yan Mingyao's voice sounded in Wang Feng's mind. This ancestor demon obviously covets the ancestral realm. That chaos world wasn't given by him at all. It was only found by Yama Lord. It has absolutely nothing to do with this ancestor demon. I can guarantee it. When Yama Lord found this chaos world, he had already recorded the information. Yan Mingyao's words couldn't be false. Why would the ancestor demon, a universal-level life form, covet the ancestral realm? Wang Fengxin murmured. Wang Feng recalled the deeds and news of this ancestor demon from all aspects. He felt that something was amiss. From what he heard from many fiend gods, this ancestor demon was a mighty existence in the dark demon world. He was said to be the best of his era, and no soul demon could surpass him until now. Wang Feng was very impressed with every deed he had done. Logically speaking, he shouldn't covet a mere great world. Moreover, he could even accept someone like Fiend God Huang Hai as a fated one. He was very different from Wang Feng's impression of the ancestor demon. Originally, in Wang Feng's heart, this ancestor demon should be a mysterious and peerless genius. Wang Feng even guessed that he might be a transmigrator with some kind of system, or the main character of the dark demon world. Why was it that after becoming a universe-level life form, it still coveted the large world of a junior? To universe-level life forms, even though great worlds were rare, it shouldn't be to this extent, right? Could it be that the ancestral realm is hiding some kind of secret? Even if there was a mistake in Yen Mingyao's information and that primal chaos world was truly left behind by him. Since he left it to the dark devil realm, why did he take it back? Just like that wisp of demonic chi, it's purely a fortuitous opportunity. For a universe-level life form, splitting apart the primal chaos wasn't a difficult task. Why didn't he split it open himself and instead left it for the dark devil world? The more he thought about it, the stranger Wang Feng felt. No matter how much you think, it's useless. At this moment, Mo Tian spoke again. You might not understand my intentions now, but one day you will. I don't want to understand, Wang Feng said calmly. I can hand it over, but I have a condition. I painstakingly split apart the primal chaos to get this ancestral realm. What do you want? Mo Tian asked directly. I want that wisp of demonic chi. Wang Feng suddenly said, strictly speaking, that wisp of demonic chi should have been mine. If you can find demonic god Huang Hai and destroy him, I can hand over the ancestral realm directly. Ha ha! Human race, you are indeed a human. Even at such a time, you still don't forget to exchange conditions and fight for the greatest benefits for yourself. Mo Tian laughed loudly. Therefore, even though your human race has the largest population and the most branches in the universe, with countless prodigies, until now, no one has been able to become a universe-level existence. Probably because he found it very rare. Mo Tian's laughter wasn't mocking or sneering. Instead, he lamented. Can't I? Wang Feng ignored Mo Tian's words. Sure, since you like to exchange so much. Mo Tian's tone was indifferent. Then I will exchange with you. Mo Tian looked at Bibidon, who wasn't far away, and tapped the void with his fingertip. In an instant, countless chains flew out from the void and weaved into a cage, trapping Bibidon within. The chains were covered with nebula thunderbolts and laws, emitting a god-slaying and soul-stealing power. Hand it over and I won't kill her, Mo Tian said. Seeing this, Wang Feng closed his eyes slightly. He had probed. This ancestor demon was up to something. In other words, he knew. The ancestral realm might just be an excuse. This ancestor demon might just be looking for an excuse to get rid of him. As for why he was looking for an excuse instead of attacking directly, Wang Feng guessed that he might be using this excuse to deal with Crimson Divine Skyfox. After all, Crimson Divine Skyfox was still his hidden backer. Of course, there might be other reasons too. A dignified ancestor demon, a universe-level life form, also likes to play such tricks? Wang Feng glanced at Bibidon and sighed. What you did really disheartened the juniors. Oh, by the way, I have been using the app recently. Change Source Artifact Afuanuan Shenkiat supports both Android and Apple phones. At this moment, Qi Lingyan and the other soul demons were silent. That might be because you don't understand soul demons well. Mo Tian found it interesting. Back when I unified the 9 regions, this method was already considered the mildest. So, human, what do you plan to choose? I choose an MLGB, Wang Feng said with a smile. Without another word, Wang Feng's figure burst out. A terrifying aura suddenly surged out from his body. You want to attack? Mo Tian was very surprised. That kind of surprise was like seeing a catfish that was already on the plate and it had to jump up and jump twice. Moreover, its purpose was not to escape from the plate, but to attack the diner. Tyance merely waved his hand gently, and in an instant, the great world above the sky dome descended. Rumble! Just the pure pressure alone was enough to shatter the entire dark demon world. Wang Feng's aura condensed as the divine halo on his body flickered. Origin force gathered around him like stars, but the pressure made it hard for him to breathe. He looked up at the great world. He could only see countless light sources in the great world. Each light source seemed to represent an origin force. These origin forces formed the foundation of the great world. It was different from the newborn ancestral realm. This ancestral demon's great world had countless origin forces. Wang Feng's scalp went numb. They were not on the same level at all. Is this how a battle between universal-level life forms is fought? No, definitely not. An indescribable throbbing rose in Wang Fengxin's heart. This might just be the tip of the iceberg. Or rather, this Tyance was at his fingertips. Even so, this clone was no match for him at all. It should be noted that he could basically beat the demon gods of the dark demon world. Even if 2 or 3 demon gods came, Wang Feng was not afraid at all, even if they were demon gods who specialized in killing deities. Wang Feng estimated that if he used the ancestral realm, it would be shattered the moment it appeared. This is a battle strength of 2 completely different dimensions. Wang Fengxin murmured. How could he fight then? This sudden crisis was the most dangerous thing Wang Feng had ever encountered so far. At this moment, Wang Fengxin suddenly felt something. This feeling, could it be the main body? Chapter 1599. Douluo Continent. The world had changed, and the stars had changed. The clear sky was like a white steed flitting across a crack. Many years had passed. However, the great star Douluo forest in the center of the continent was like a monument carved in history. It was eternal and unchanging. It had witnessed the changes of the continent. At the same time, it was still as bright and green under the sky. This was especially so for the godly mountain in the center. Even time, the sharpest weapon in the world, didn't leave a single mark on the godly mountain. Suddenly, the clear sky seemed to be covered by a layer of cloth. The sky darkened. A huge shadow swept past. It was a koan. It's the 9th of September again. Boss hasn't responded this year. We're already 1,000,000 years old. We can't be any stronger. It's been a few hundred years since Boss left. The giant black koan spoke in human language with a tone of vicissitude. The koan flew across the sky. It stopped a few thousand meters above the godly mountain and stared into the distance. There were a few pairs of men and women on the koan's back. However, their appearances and skin colors were very different from humans. They were unique soul beasts that had taken human form. Over the past few years, the continent seems to have changed more and more. One of the middle-aged men, who was wearing a white fox fur coat and had a cold expression, said in a deep voice, "The newborn soul beasts are getting stronger and stronger. My son was born with a cultivation of more than 1,000 years. The energy between heaven and earth is getting denser and denser, and there are more and more variations among our soul beasts. Otaku crocodile, just this year's statistics alone show that there are more than 10,000 types of mutated soul beasts." As he spoke, the middle-aged man glanced at a fat man beside him. That's not true. Odontasuka squinted and scanned the great star Douluo forest below. I heard that the humans have developed soul tools that can fly out of the continent. The energy between heaven and earth is changing too quickly. The precipitation and growth of resources are increasing rapidly. In addition, the energy is gradually mutating. I remember that the godly mountain's energy changed slightly in the 100 years after Boss appeared. There hasn't been an energy tide anymore. Who knew that the godly mountain would start to produce an energy tide not long after Boss left? In just a few hundred years, the rate of change is faster than 10,000 years. Soul beasts like us have already reached a bottleneck. Logically speaking, we can't cultivate anymore. Forget it, let's not talk about it anymore. Iron Fox, I'm not the only one who is gathered here today, right? Will the disciples that boss left behind before he left come? The middle-aged fatty known as Odontasuchus asked. Of course we have to. We come once a year. After all, the Divine Mountain is a ruin left behind by the boss. Big Sis Ching Ching said that he's still inside. Boss disciples had already become titled Douluo a few hundred years ago, but they were unable to ascend to the God realm. It was said that some of them had broken through the void and gone to other world. I don't think soul beasts like us like to obediently guard the Douluo continent, the giant Leviathan said. Just as he was speaking, the distant space trembled slightly. A melodious sound of a flute suddenly rang out. Look, aren't they here now? Odontasuchus pointed into the distance. This flute sound must be that Xiao Xiao from the Xiao Ding duo, right? Speaking of which, I have a deep impression of her. 200 years ago, this girl came to the extreme north to look for news of our boss. She played the flute and hundreds of thousands of soul beasts in the extreme north became her followers. The rest of them were embarrassed. My daughter likes her music too. On the right of Odontasuchus, a middle-aged man with snow-white hair coughed a few times. I have a deep impression of her too. However, I haven't heard any news of her in the Martial Spirit Federation. She was even absent 2 years ago. Shenbing, your daughter is the complete opposite of you. That girl of yours is simply too lively. Odontasuchus seemed to have thought of something. He immediately smiled and said to the white-haired middle-aged man. The few of them chatted happily. In the distance, as the sound of the flute approached, the space gradually changed. Several figures suddenly appeared in the sky. As for the owner of the flute, he was standing on a majestic golden eagle. Xiao Xiao, who had already become an adult, was wearing a long green dress. Her figure was graceful, her facial features were exquisite, and her eyes were extraordinarily lively. She gave off a strange vibe. Hey, Big Sis Dong is that Kuan Shenbing and the rest? They're here too. Xiao Xiao smiled and said to a beautiful lady behind her. Yes, they should be here. The 9th day of the 9th month is the day they come to visit Uncle Feng. The lady smiled, but her gaze was a little gloomy. Her tone was erratic. Big Sis Dong why aren't you happy? Did Huoyu Hao make you angry again? Xiao Xiao sensed that Wang Dong-er's expression wasn't right. No, it's because of other reasons. Wang Dong-er shook her head. Huoyu Hao is very good to me. He should be here soon, but what? At this moment, another lady slowly walked out from Xiao Zhao's side. Her voice was a little gentle. Her golden hair was like a shining lamp. It was very eye-catching. She was also a beautiful lady. Nan Nan, why are you so slow? Xiao Xiao grumbled. I was the one who did all the work to open the spatial passage. I thought you were one step ahead of me. This lady was Jiang Nan Nan. She was one of the Shrek's 7 monsters. In the current Martial Spirit Federation, they were known as the second generation of the Shrek's 7 monsters. They were also 7 legendary figures. However, they were different from the first generation. This generation of the Shrek's 7 monsters were not only titled Douluo, but also titled Soul Contracted Masters. Jiang Nanan laughed. The spatial tunnel you opened was very unstable. I was afraid it would have a negative impact on that world, so I went back. Oh yes, Dong-er, what did you want to say? Wang Dong-er looked down at the godly mountain and whispered, during our trip, I seemed to have sensed the godly realm in another world. Huoyu Hao too. Huoyu Hao and I met someone. He told us about the situation in the Douluo continent and teacher, no, Uncle Feng. After hearing this, the two ladies looked at each other. Teacher, where is he now? Is he really in the godly mountain like the Azure Emperor said? Jiang Nanan bit her lips and asked softly. No, that person told me that he's in. Wang Dong looked at the sky. In an extremely dangerous world. It's a world even stronger than the godly realm. Even if we can break through some spatial barriers with our current strength, we can't enter such a world. However, that person told us that the Douluo world is currently in an ascending stage. When the time comes, it might become a large world like the godly realm. He told us to stay in the Douluo world and cultivate. This is also the reason why I asked you to end this trip early and come back. Who's this person? How does he know so much? Xiao Xiao was puzzled. He's Dong Er's father, the godly king of the godly realm. His name is Tang San. He's also the first generation of the Shrek Academy's Shrek's 7 monsters. He's also our teacher's brother. At this time, a clear voice slowly sounded from the space in the distance. A tall and handsome young man walked out. End of chapter. Chapter 1600. Huoyu Hao. You brat. Xiao Xiao immediately screamed, I haven't seen you for a few years, but you're becoming more and more magnanimous. Wait, what did you say? Dong Er's father? As if realizing something, Xiao Xiao immediately stared at the youth in the distance with her eyes wide open. Huoyu Hao laughed. Yes, Dong Er's father. It's a long story. I'll tell you slowly. Dong Er and I don't plan to leave the Douluo continent this time. After we reached rank 100, we couldn't break through due to the rules of the world. But now, as the Douluo world slowly becomes stronger, it's very likely to evolve into a godlike existence. At that time, we can create our own divine positions and become the gods of the Douluo world. Dong Er's father also told us about this path. Because the godlike world is sealed now, we can't enter at all. Huoyu Hao's words shocked them. They didn't expect there to be such a thing. Let's go and greet the elders first. We can go to the Divine Mountain to pay respects to teacher later. Sister Xiaotao, Bei, Sanshur and Kaitu should be here soon. Huoyu Hao first flew to the giant Kuan with the 3 girls. Senior Kuan. Huoyu Hao and Wang Dong flew to the back of the giant Kuan and looked at the other couples. They hurriedly said respectfully. These were all teacher's soul beast friends, but they all called themselves teacher's underlings. After teacher left, whether it was them or humans, they had received a lot of favors. They had known each other for a long time. Especially the Azure Emperor in the extreme north. It could be said that he favored the disciples of these teachers quite a lot. He even prepared a few soul-bonding beasts for them. Thinking back to these years, Huoyu Hao was very emotional. Although their teacher had left, they had also experienced a completely different war. In just a few decades, not only did they become titled Douluo, but they also became the first batch of soul-bonding masters to nurture million-year soul beasts on the continent. You little fellows, I haven't seen you for a few years, but you're much stronger than us. The giant Kuan's voice echoed in the air. After all, teacher nurtured us well, Huoyu Hao said modestly. He didn't dare to think so. These seniors of the soul beast world had lived for who knew how many years. In terms of cultivation, 100-year soul beasts could be found everywhere on the continent, and they might not even have the chance to make a move. What's popular on the continent now? Nurturing a million-year soul beast. What was a titled Douluo? Among the most powerful individuals on the continent, a titled Douluo was only the most basic threshold. Only a titled soul master who could nurture a million-year soul beast would be qualified to enter the ranks of the strongest. Take their academy for example. Over the past few hundred years, as the energy tide within the Divine Mountain had become more and more intense, almost all of their teachers had become titled Douluo. The Martial Spirit Federation also divided the titled Douluo realm into 2 more major realms, a total of 20 ranks. If the tide of energy on the Divine Mountain were to continue in this manner, it would most likely nurture the Doulu realm into a divine realm within 200 to 300 years before stabilizing. Why isn't the Azure Emperor here? Wang Dong looked up and said, "We still have something to discuss with her." Sister Qing said that she was afraid that she would think of boss again. Cough cough. It's mainly that scorpion. Her sister has woken up. Cowardly Kun replied with a smile. She left Sister Qing behind and said that she would come to the sacred mountain alone to have a look. Her sister? Is it the Snow Empress? She's awake? Xiao Xiao was astonished. That's right. Xin Bing's expression was solemn. In terms of seniority, she's our mistress. Boss is nominal. Cough cough. When boss came to the extreme north, she didn't wake up. She slept for more than 10,000 years. But boss is now. He looked at the divine mountain. Huoyu Hao and the rest could empathize with his heavy tone. Their teacher's identity was no longer a secret to them. This was especially so after Wang Dong Er's father's sudden appearance, and Huoyu Hao knew most of what was going on. Let's go to the divine mountain to take a look first. We've been traveling in the outside world for a long time. Huoyu Hao's eyes were filled with guilt. After becoming a titled Douluo a few hundred years ago, he was unable to contact the divine realm. He had been thinking of ways to break through the current level of power. As his cultivation deepened, he realized that there was nothing he could do in the Douluo world. Thus, he thought of opening a spatial passageway to take a look at otherworld. After all, they were already the 7 most powerful people on the continent. They even had more than 20 soul-bonded beasts. Even if they went to other worlds, they could still protect themselves. The divine mountain is still the same. Sister Qing said that boss has always been in the divine mountain. It's a pity that with our current strength, we can't move the divine mountain at all. This. Kuai Kun shook his head and sighed. I don't know what's in the divine mountain. Just the energy overflowing from it has caused the entire continent to undergo earth-shattering changes. Sister Qing isn't sure whether boss is in there or not. But Sister Qing said that boss told her that. He's cultivating in seclusion in the divine mountain, but he hasn't responded. Sister Qing, and we sometimes wonder if boss is trapped in there. As they got closer to the divine mountain, the group stopped in midair. Wang Dong and Huoyu Hao didn't speak. Tang San told them that Wang Feng had gone to another world, and they weren't sure if Wang Feng was still in the divine mountain. Speaking of which, I went to another world this time and obtained some treasures by chance. Huoyu Hao thought for a moment. I felt that it was similar to the energy in the divine mountain. I wanted to preserve it and see if I could use it to move the divine mountain so that Master would respond to us. What is it? Xin Bing and Wang Feng's subordinates looked at Huoyu Hao curiously. A seed. Huoyu Hao turned his palm and revealed a pitch-black pearl. How did you get it? Xin Bing asked seriously. A lady. Huoyu Hao hesitated for a few seconds. She told me that this item is fated with me, but I can't use it for now. But I can keep it and use it for other purposes. I can vaguely feel that it has something to do with the divine mountain. She's very strong. Even I can't take a single blow from her. The few of them were stunned. They were even more astonished. Do you want to try? The energy in this seed is very special. It seems to be connected to the divine mountain. Huoyu Hao pondered. If it drips down, it might move the divine mountain. Let's forget about it. Jiang Nanan whispered. What if something bad happens? Master is in closed-door cultivation. Huoyu Hao agreed. He didn't know what would happen if this item fell. Furthermore, that lady was so mysterious. Something didn't feel right. What if Master was really in there and something bad happened? Wouldn't it lead to a huge mistake? However, just as Huoyu Hao was about to put it away, the pearl in his palm suddenly fell and dripped onto the divine mountain. In the next instant, a rumbling sound that caused the entire world to tremble was heard. The group of people's eyes widened. That was because the Divine Mountain had cracked open. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.